There we go.
Yeah.
There it
That was
is.
a hearty one this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an angry yeet.
Okay.
Angry.
So,
Angry
we'd like to recap last time.
boy.
Isn't angry that dude from Phineas and Ferb?
No, that's
No,
Bob's
it's
yeet.
Sorry.
All right.
Yeet, Sadowit, Devon.
So let's see. I'm trying to figure out where my little line is for the last thing done because I don't think that was that far back, but maybe it was. Last time did we start out by discussing the population increase? And okay. So we planned a meeting that we ended up having later on. We confirmed that we have immunity as witnesses. The gates of Aaqa are a teleportation anchor, so basically if we teleport to that plane, we will teleport to the gates.
Yes.
Fervus...
Esther, Rosalind, and Ashta have 3 potions of glibness among them.
Yep, Fervus worked hard. Was a little worried about letting us down, but Esther talked to him. Xenia and Sammy talk over finances. We kind of hire Sammy on as a financial advisor for the island. We find out what Fervus was before he became Fervus. Apparently he was an early archdruid of the desert. Lived a very long life. Passed peacefully about 100 years ago in the same spot Fervus was born.
Also, he was one of the first Genasi as well.
Basically he was born in the plane of fire, but could not thrive there because he wasn't technically an elemental. He was humanoid. More so. So,
Yeah.
he had to be taken to the material plane, where apparently he did very well. Oh, there was, Esther contacting Thoth, overnight, finding out that her family line went very far back, had a number of elements in it, fire, air, earth, though fire has kind of overtaken them recently. Interesting bit of world-building tidbit, there are Gith lines in most humans, Genasi, etc. It's kind of a common ancestor of sorts, or at the very least, a commonly crossed, like, bloodline way, way back. And part of it is what makes humans very adaptable and quick to learn. We also find out that the Genasi Soldar are a form of language, though they don't know how to read them yet. Thoth told Esther a few meanings, but revealed that the face marks are hard to translate and something she doesn't know about yet, so that's a puzzle to figure out. Also, apparently a mythical place called the Library is real. Something Esther knows about. We have the meeting. Simone and Rangers have a battle plan for the town, but they just need skilled trappers and fighters. The more Rangers, the better, but pretty much anybody who might be capable. Basic infrastructure in the castle is ready. They've got room for about 100 more people in the castle itself. The bottom of the castle, skilled labor, is understaffed for workers. Food sufficiency currently could close to double the population. Triple if hunter-gatherer work is added to it. Even more with trade opening up. We were told to name the island and people. So we've got that figured out of character. We'll have to bring it in character at some point. Or just agree that we had a very long late-night feign conversation argument over it. We found out that...
Finance sheet a la Sammy and Xenia.
We find out that Leo will be Cancer's other witness. That's going to be interesting. Esther offered to give Gariel one of her Fein. Gariel feels they'll make it too easy and doesn't really want it. Fein offer instead to try and breathe life into his crystal again, communicate through that. He wants to do research on that ritual first, though, rather than rush into it willy-nilly. And that is about where my notes end off. Us, I think, just retiring for the night or coming close to it, before we go to the trial of Cancer.
Indeed. So, as you each fall into a most likely at least mildly anxious slumber. The night overtakes you, and each of you are asked by your Fane, do you wish to dream tonight? To prepare?
Yes.
Yes.
Got any good ideas?
I don't know.
We have a theory that might help.
That being...
Well, let's show you. And you all are thrust into the same space. It's a small, dingy room, maybe 20, 30 feet in either direction. Square, has a few levels to it. It's like tiered, like a cake. And standing on top of, at the highest tier, in front of a desk, looking kind of like a stuffed animal that wasn't stuffed enough, is a kind of like a teddy bear version of Rosalind, sitting, holding a little fake scepter, and each of you are standing at the bottom of the tiers. And the fake Rosalind goes, in your Fane's echoed voice together, says, "Practice court will now commence!"
Oh no.
And the fluffy hand just like hits on the table like a gavel.
I'm sorry, what is going on?
What's going on?
I understand the meaning of practice, however, I would rather not do this twice.
Well, just in case you guys don't work on any of the kinks of your speeches, feel free to do so now. Otherwise, we will be here to hold court.
Holding court?
Are we all giving a speech? I assumed it was just Rosalind.
Yeah.
This is basically just if you guys want to work at any things and discuss with the Fane, basically you have the opportunity to.
We
did a lot of
discussed
discussion.
enough in the chat out of game. I don't want to do it again.
Yep. So we'll assume that discussion happens.
Do we want to just do like an out loud rundown, just to make sure everyone's on the same page?
Sure.
Because I don't know if
point list?
everyone read the chat.
I wrote up a point list of what it was when we were talking about it. Give me a second, I'm going to find it.
I copied the
see.
point list
Reading
into a
the
Word
chat,
document.
Yes.
Basically, the symbols you wear are used to spy on you, to the Zodiacs.
Yep,
We've only
and
attacked
that's
Zodiacs
going
who
to be telepathic.
Yeah, definitely. We've only attacked Zodiacs who have either threatened our allies or have gone onto our plane and caused havoc. We don't want to kill all the Zodiacs. We will return Aquarius if her safety, protection, and a form of communication with her can be guaranteed. We will continue to protect our plane, but would rather have allies in that than enemies. 13 has got his fingers in every fucking pie involving this war, and is heavily twisting both sides to whatever favor he seems to enjoy. And then if we're asked who we are, the name I suppose we all just came up with.
I guess one other thing, the idea that peace talks aren't necessarily just a ceasefire.
Yeah.
They require more in-depth and wide-spanning changes. Potentially on both ends.
Mm-hmm.
So, basically we're not going, like, peace to us is not just simply, okay, we'll pull out of the war when things like this, it'd be hard to believe something like what happened at Peduncle wouldn't happen again.
Finding a solution instead of just ceasefiring, it'll be also working towards a solution in a collective manner.
Yep. And also being in, like, steady and consistent talks.
Yeah.
Rather than just having the one and going each other's own ways. John, watch your mic.
There's also the why did you go after Scorpio? Well, one, Scorpio sent an assassination attempt through Bo to kill Aquarius. And two, Scorpio was causing issues on the material plane, and we were asked to retrieve her. She's alive, but we were asked to retrieve her.
She's not necessarily alive.
She also committed a personal attack on us and our group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Holding innocence to knife point, etc.
Yeah.
Which maybe hold back on the we were sent to go get her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
These
Ow. Wow, who's
John, fix your shit.
I'm trying.
It's like the thing of we like don't bring up any other people. We could just play it off as this was something we were requested to do. Not we were requested to do, we've decided to do.
Yeah, it's something we had reason to do.
Yeah.
It was not unprovoked.
It was not an order from anyone.
Mhm.
It was of our own will and volition because of slights that she had done to us.
It's technically true that it also wasn't an order. We wanted to do it, diviner or not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty
Mhm.
much.
The diviner just gave us info to help with that.
Yeah, but we didn't need to bring up any names of any powerful people.
Yeah.
Diviner could have tragically died in the intermedium, and we would have still gone after Scorpio.
In terms of Scorpio
Oh, yeah.
sending an assassin, we should probably just use a powerful assassin rather than using the name Bo, because they may.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Assassin, yeah.
Alright, so we'll say that, yeah, well, if they ask why we went after Scorpio, she sent a powerful assassin after the Zodiac who is currently in our custody, who we have sworn to keep safe. And she did a extremely personal slight against one of our own members.
Underhanded tactic.
Yeah, an
against
underhanded
innocents.
tactic
Personal
against
attack.
an innocent civilian,
Mm.
aka the baby.
We're not going to go into too many details. Just be like, innocent civilian instead of saying like a baby, a child, because then assumptions can.
hmm
It's like it's better to keep vague and using citizen. We could use just adolescent citizen or
Civilian.
Yeah.
civilian. Yes, sorry. It's making sure that the Zodiacs also don't get as much personal information about us. We're just making our statement. We're making our case.
So a young civilian, just say, was in.
Threatened.
Yeah.
Up.
Threatened.
Between and
Yes.
threatened.
And also just to go over two of the, I think it was specified, like we went through it, but it wasn't like thrown in the things together of, like which zodiacs and why, and technically we did go after Aquarius, kind of quote, like with her being wanting peace, or
Yeah.
You know,
if they ask why we
zodiacs
went-
that are supporting the war but still wish to not do it, like what
Yeah.
the difference is, we'd have to explain that clearly.
Mm-hmm.
and also why do you have Aquarius? To be fair, pretty much an accident.
And don't think we need that much.
Why do
Yeah.
you
Still a
take
fun statement,
Aquarius? We acted hastily and needed information. We needed the truth about the war.
And the reassurance of keeping her safe as bringing her back to life and all that shit.
Yeah.
Alright. I'm sure that we're going to be asked things that we're not prepared for, so I guess just do your best.
So let's go over the things we're not prepared for and we can't think of right now.
Isn't that just being a DM? So,
Hey Fane, is there anything we're not thinking of?
well, technically you're not taking into account Sir Newton's third law, which is the law of revenge. No.
That's a sign, bitch.
The Teddy Rosalind once more hits the scepter onto the table and says, "Well then, caught, dismissed," and you all wake up in the morning, fully rested.
That was weird.
That was fucking stupid.
Ashta.
That was so odd.
I don't sound like that, do I?
No, you don't.
Thank you.
Exceedingly.
Yeah. And there's just that to his own Fane, you're on thin ice, buddy.
We are a part of 5, and we wanted to make it clear that it was not a fake
Yeah,
Rosalind, so you didn't panic.
you're literally in my head, you don't need to explain it to me.
We just didn't want you to panic upon seeing a realistic Rosalind.
Oh, that's actually kind of sweet. Shit.
Aww.
But you just do know Rosalind.
She's the closest thing we have to a member of the court. Unless you would rather us do Issa, but I think a Teddy Issa would be more scary.
We know for a fact Cancer's there, but whatever.
We don't know what
Demon
Cancer
Issa.
looks like.
Yes, we
Ew.
We saw her.
Have you seen Cancer already?
We
Yes!
Yeah, we in the.
Oh, sorry.
Are you talking
Cancer.
about Libra?
Sorry,
Yes.
I mixed up.
Are you talking about
I
Libra?
mixed up Cancer and Libra.
Okay.
Sorry.
I was like,
Yeah,
bruh.
you tend to mix up Cancer, don't you?
Yeah. Not gonna lie.
Yeah,
Are
bro.
you sure we killed Scorpio?
No, you guys need to know. I checked that like 4 times before I made the sheet.
Oh my god. Okay, that's fair. Oh, curiosity. In the morning, before we leave, can Esther on a piece of paper draw out that Azer mark?
The slave one?
Yeah, she just wants to draw it out.
Yep, simple enough to do.
Okay, she's just gonna kind of hold it on her own person then. Somewhere where it cannot be easily found.
Okay.
Because discussions with Leo.
Yeah. So, as you guys prepare, I imagine the vase is left with Gabriel.
Yes.
Gisa, when you guys wake up in the morning, she's waiting in that little common room where your guys' rooms all connect. Just tapping her foot, waiting for everyone to wake up. And once you're all out there, Xenia, of course, out there first, making breakfast for everyone.
Yep.
I was probably out there second.
How are we getting there?
Makes it early.
We could plane shift.
Would you want to use the spell?
It'll be... Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine.
Okay. Because I'd like to keep the orb ready in case we need to leave.
I'll be keeping at least a higher level 1 spell on access as well, so...
Well, the
Alright.
gates are an anchor. If we teleport, we'll most likely end up at least somewhere close to them.
Yep.
I think we will end up at them, is how they work, but yes.
With any luck, knowing us, you can never be too certain.
Please don't jinx any of this. I didn't burn the food, and I'm hopefully not gonna fuck up this teleport.
Are you sure about that? He looks over towards the oven, still on. Roll.
There's nothing in the oven.
Roll.
Fuck you.
Oh, no, Devin, do you get to command someone to roll? I'm not sure about that.
I was gonna roll anyway.
Exactly. I'm not commanding Ty to roll, I'm challenging Ty to roll.
I accept challenges a little bit too easily.
So, what are you making? Because it is delicious.
Eggs and fucking bacon.
Hell yes. You make a
Hearty
nice, just
breakfast.
classic American breakfast.
What's American?
Classic lentil and breakfast.
What's your American?
Lentio.
I thought you were American.
Lentil.
I thought you were Anthony's. Alright. Issa, once everyone is fully gathered and eating, she says, "So, how long should I expect you guys to be gone, and what am I doing about bringing people up?"
With people, I've ran the numbers. We have enough to double the population if we're all willing.
Just a double, nothing more.
We can do more, but I feel like it's safer just to double and then work from there. Ty doesn't have numbers for anything.
Just making sure.
Alright. Focus on that. Focus on workers. People
See
who
if you can.
Mhm.
See if you can get any rangers as well to add to that. They're usually self-sufficient, and see if they'll be able to help out with protecting at least the forests and the areas around the town.
Maybe bring Simone with you. Better discerning eye for that stuff.
Probably. Well, luckily we have the pick of Anther, so we can get whatever we want, really.
Tell her it's a challenge for me to find the best ones. Or the most
No.
suiting ones.
If you want to try that, tell it yourself.
Alright.
Not throwing a gauntlet for you.
make sure they're all aware what they are potentially getting into.
Yep, of course. I'll be interviewing all of them today, so...
Assume
Hopefully.
that
Potion boy, do you have one of the potions extra? The catnap ones?
Potion Boy is muted.
He's falling
Travis.
asleep in his hash browns.
Yeah.
He still kind of says, "I'm going to be interviewing about 200 people today. What are the odds you have one of those potions on you?
I can make one right
Catnap
now.
potions. You would probably have an extra just from that big amount you were making from,
Yeah, I probably have it. Yeah, I have an extra, so I just hand her one.
Also, you can make one out of an infusion, technically, right?
Yeah, with the reagent, so yeah, it just takes like a minute.
So you whip one up for her, she takes it and says, "Okay, you're starting to become my second favorite after Rosalind."
Fervus, that's
I
high
appreciate it.
praise.
I suppose so.
Gonna pat you on the shoulder and says, "You know, you should really start branding these things. I'm thinking creature energy potion. Something like
Bleh.
Yeah.
that. She just smiles, pats you on the shoulder, and walks out. Good luck with whatever the hell you're doing.
Out of character, you can go with monstrosity.
I didn't want to make it that over the top. But breakfast is had. You, Rosalind, you get what's the equivalent of a collect call from jail. That says, it's a message. Sorry, a sending spell. That says, you've been requested in the court of Aaqa. Will you and yours be arriving today?
We will. To look around.
Get a sense of confirmation.
Well, we've
And
been
a
called.
second sending that says, farewell. During your stay, you will have freedom of rights, city, and safety.
She'll relay that to the group.
Right.
Are we ready?
I think
Ready than we'll ever.
We have a choice in the matter.
Yep. Which is the tuning fork? Is it air or water? Because Aqua's fucking me up. It's air, right?
Yeah, I know the name sucks, but it's from the D&D handbook. Yeah, it's AQA in air.
That shit
Okay.
sucks.
I
Yeah,
also hate how it's spelled. Where's the fucking U?
look, man, I don't know. It's just how it's
It just
spelled.
makes me mad.
Like I'm sitting here like I would just change it. Like
Yeah, here's the thing. As soon as I change it, whenever I try to Google anything, I'll get it wrong.
eh.
Also, if I add the U, it looks more like the word aqua.
Actually, okay. Tuning fork, kind of air.
So you hold it in your hand. Everyone, I imagine, gathers hands around you.
Everybody hold hands and
How long do those potions go for?
Which,
The glibness?
Hour.
Well,
Okay.
let's not take it yet.
Yeah.
everybody hold hands, pretend like we love each other like we always do. No, I love old lady joker.
What do you mean pretend?
and with that, I like to imagine the spell goes off right there.
Their Xenia feign check.
Yeah, you get it back.
Hmm.
I like to imagine you get the clue of like, fuck off.
Turn
So-
on, bitch.
What are you specifically attempting to teleport to?
Going to focus on Aqua.
Court of
So-
Aqua.
You
Yeah.
focus your mind and summon the magic within you. You guys feel for a second as the wind picks up just at your feet. Faster and faster as almost a hurricane of magical energy twists around you. And then just one last twist. And you feel yourselves tugged and yanked and pulled in some strange direction. Almost like an inward, as opposed to any sort of cardinal direction. And as you land, for a moment all you can hear is the loudest wind in your ears you've ever heard of. As you appear at the gates of Aaqa. No rolls needed.
Well, that was easier than expected.
Oh,
That was a lot
okay.
smoother.
So,
Yeah.
as you guys look up, you see a city of islands. Pieces of stone floating among slipstreams, and when you focus far enough past the city itself, you can see clouds the size of countries going past you, as this city is in motion at all times. There are chain bridges, and that act almost just as handholds more than anything else, that connect the islands and hold them together. But looking upon the buildings and the city itself, it looks almost like you'd imagine what the land of the Celestials would be. All the islands are of gold, silver, platinum, precious metals, welded together with no seams, curved edges all around, no harsh ones, and between buildings there's just open air into a void of further air. You can feel the winds around you, and you're relatively certain if it wasn't for the magical protections of this land, which you can sense, all of you, as this place is held together by it, that it would tear your skin off, in all likelihood. And as you look down to the closer, more proximity around you, you can see a number of strange-looking folks. It's almost like they're vaguely related to Asimar. Tall, maybe 8, 9 feet, all of them. Long, flowing hair, male and female, and they all look like perfection. Almost like you would think of the statue of David. Chiseled muscles, black skin with golden eyes, and every single one holding a great sword as tall as they are on their back. Wearing nothing but a gold loincloth. One of them steps up to you. It says, in common, what is your preferred language?
We all speak common. A number of us speak other languages besides.
I am to be your guide today. Welcome to the realm of Aaqa. I am one of the Vati. I will guide you through the slipstreams. Where would you like to go?
We are to go to the court of Libra.
Very well. So, Sky, how?
I was going down the stairs, the last one, and now, like, I skinned my arm in 2 places.
Yes.
Bro.
Oh.
Ow.
I think that has made you the officially most
Sorry.
commonly injured during session.
I also think you're the first person to fall downstairs mid-session.
Yeah, I fell downstairs. The last time this happened, I accidentally cut myself, and then
Yep.
I refused to go clean it until I think I scraped my knee.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That's
Go
what.
find
That's
some Neosporin.
Welcome to the fall down the stairs during session club.
bro. It's fine. That's what we got. It's a good thing I had sleeves on, actually.
So-
Ooh, he's pretty.
That is your guide, one of the Vati. Ashta, due to your knowledge of the planes, give me a wisdom check with proficiency with advantage.
Wisdom check.
So, of your choice there.
Advantage. Sure.
Okay.
29.
Ooh.
Damn.
So, you've not really heard much of the realm of Aaqa before. You knew a little bit. But Vati are a very interesting race of people. Some consider them celestials, some consider them elementals. But they do not die unless they are killed, and some of them have been said to be around since the beginning of the elemental planes. They have near perfect control over the winds, and are kind of paragons of law in all the planes. They act as almost a ruling class, but there's not very many of them. But you know that throughout each stage of their life and each social caste they exist in, that they serve different people. Their entire life is generally dedicated to some kind of servitude. These ones are most likely of the lowest caste, where they have to interact with foreigners and guide them. But their whole caste system is seen as a thing of honor, as opposed to a punishment. They serve in these castes their whole lives, and for some that means thousands upon thousands of years. And they are strong. They are powerful beings. At one point, it's theorized that they tried to conquer the planes and very nearly did before they got to the plane of Earth, which they could not, which they had no command over and therefore lost. But a very honor-bound society. And as you guys are lifted into the air by the winds that surround you, you don't really see anything, you just kind of feel them beneath your feet and wrapping around your waists. They pull you down some streets, and looking everywhere. The Vati are very few. Most of the people living here are air elementals of some kind. Genies, primordial air elementals like the ones you guys normally fight, things upon those lines. But also a number of air genasi and Aarakocra. They are the most populous races in this area. It seems everyone here flies. No one really uses land except for when they're having conversations, just due to the nature of what this is. And shooting through the city streets at probably 90 feet per round, 120 feet per round, something in that range. Just guided by the air current that this Vati of yours is channeling. It's a peaceful mercantile city. It's not very busy. Everyone kind of moves around as they need to. Very polite, very quiet outside of the winds that buffet your ears and keep you pretty much silent and separate from the rest of the people around you. You get a lot of interesting looks as you walk through, but no aggression, just confusion as to why you might be here. And as you turn a corner, turn a second, turn a third, you eventually circle around to a rather small building, actually. You expect this grand courtroom of Libra to be huge, but you guys can see very obviously written both in Common, Celestial, and Primordial. The Court of Libra. Also, the Court of Aaqa. Domed structure. Seems to have a number of, like, whatever you can call underground in this scenario chambers, but a main open courtroom in which the walls are non-existent. There's just pillars holding up the ceiling. And you can see Cancer in shackles at the base of a large plinth, seated just below a larger Vati, who stands on a pedestal. And on the other end of the rather circular room, which you guys recognize as Leo. A sly grin on their face, squat, Azer, as you remember them last being.
Real quick.
Sure.
Just as they were going, could Asha have just kind of breathed in, try to get a feeling of this plane? And
Go for
whatever
it.
stuff he might be acquiring while here?
Yeah, give me a wisdom check. Alright.
Jesus.
You can feel that almost itch to start flying. You almost feel as if you wouldn't even need your wings here if you focused just hard enough. The more logical side of your brain says, no, gravity still matters. But you feel this, like, freedom bubbling inside of your chest and wanting to burst out, and this, like, urge to act. It's energizing. Very freeing.
I'll just try to remember that feeling.
So, as you guys are placed into the Court of Libra, here is the map.
Is that Libra?
Probably.
Damn.
You guys could have drank it on the way here. It's
Yeah.
just, describing the cityscape, I don't want to have to, cut it to pieces very much.
Okay.
Whoever is taking the glibness potions, please do so.
Shit. Who did he give
Yeah.
them to again? Ashta.
Esther, Ashta, and Rosalind.
Alright, Esther's gonna drink hers.
Yeah. Go ahead and drink mine.
So we'll
But the special one.
So, if you guys would please place yourself at the bottom section of the circular room in the middle. However you would choose to set yourself. I'm just going to click the long rest on Aquarius' sheet because I forgot to. Not Aquarius. I'm going to Aquarius' sheet. God damn it.
Aquarius probably just got a long rest anyways, but
Yep. Put down the right sheet. I still clicked the wrong one after.
What are these, Conrad, in the room?
Those are all Morvati.
Oh, okay.
Seemingly just watching over this proceedings.
Oh, and that's Libra?
Libra is at the top, yes.
where's Leo?
I'm putting him on a screen right now.
Libra looks scary as shit.
Mm-hmm.
Leo
That's the
is
point.
kind of just kicking their feet. Right there. Seemingly just on the edge of one of the platforms, and as you guys walk in, just gives you a wave.
Bro, he's small.
Libra was already maybe 5 feet tall. He's not big. But as your guide, drops you off and says the court proceedings are due in roughly 15 to 20 minutes. Kind of checks a little device on his hand. For precision, 17 minutes.
That's okay.
I do hope you will conduct yourselves as emissaries of the plane of material. And all weapons drawn here, while will not be considered an act of aggression, will revoke you of your right to speak in these court proceedings, so do not draw your weapons. All magical items and tools you wish to assist yourselves while speaking is allowed. As we understand, this is a course of high demeanor, and you do not have the blessings of long life. Magic has been allowed so that you may speak with whatever skill you're capable of drawing. However, lies will be considered reason to consider all of your words inadmissible. So, if you are caught lying, your speech will be considered null and void. Otherwise, you are to be witnesses for the crime of cancer. Libra has offered that if conversation goes well, and you conduct yourselves with dignity, you will be allowed to have a personal audience with Libra. If these are acceptable, please remain here. If not, I will guide you back out to the gates of Aaqa, and you can return to your home plane. So, what say you?
This is acceptable. Thank you.
As you say those words, there's just this hum of magic to the air. It says, very well. You are now bound to this place, and we will not commit acts of harm against you unless you choose to do so first. Thank you. And he just steps back into the kind of front area where those two, the two right here are. And he is this one, for reference.
Mm-hmm.
So, once you guys are settled in, Leo kind of just waddles his way over to you guys, up the stairs, and just goes, "Howdy, all. Been a while. Too early. You guys looking good, powerful, different."
Thank you.
So,
you and
you're the
Diamond
other
have a
witness?
conversation.
I'm the only other Zodiac who's, has access to the plane of Aaqa, and has interacted with you folks and lived. So yes.
But you're also here to support cancer?
Of course. The argument isn't whether cancer lied. That's already been found out. It's were they correct in doing so. They're here to appeal. And, well, let's hope you guys are appealing enough to get her out.
I certainly hope so.
Are you going to have any words alongside us? Or have you said your piece already?
The court proceedings have yet to begin. You'll get to hear my judgment of you last after you speak.
Leo,
Yes?
after the court proceedings, I need to speak with you.
Alright. Well, in that case, make sure you're very appealing. Otherwise, this will be a rather boring day.
I
Here
certainly
for some
hope so.
excitement.
I don't believe it's wise to speak before. I don't want to sway your already set perception of
So much more dignified than when I last saw you. You've grown from the little fledgling that I met last.
Any opinion on recent information coming to light
I have no idea what you're talking about.
amongst yours? Numbers 1 through 12?
Ashta, this might not be the time.
perhaps after.
He just smiled and says, "Don't worry. If you want to tell me what for later, you can." This is going to be interesting. You've never met old Libra, have you?
No.
We have not yet had the pleasure.
You're quite a scary one, I'll tell you that.
So we've been warned.
Indeed. Oh, the founder of the modern Zodiacs as we know them.
Really?
Yes, they were
Well,
the one who enacted the choice to dissolve the last Zodiacs, and when they died, they were revived to help revive the Zodiacs as they were. The
So
only remaining member of the old Zodiacs.
she's what?
He. Libra is the last remaining member of the old Zodiacs. Technically they died already and they just come back, but...
There's a look of ah shit across Esther's face.
So, oh, don't try to appeal to emotion. I'm pretty sure they killed those off 2 years ago.
I assume that considering somebody who has to deal in a court of law would be more so akin to a logical reasoning, an emotional one.
Yes, they voted to dissolve the Zodiacs last time even though they knew it would mean their death. They're a hard ass. And you hear like a rumbling in the air, and it's like the static build up. He says that and he goes, sorry, just having fun. And it fades.
No cursing, I assume?
Oh, cursing is very much allowed. I'm just, well, I'm seen as a greedy merchant, as opposed to a dignified guest, most of the time. I speak against a lot of the Zodiacs when they're looking for amnesty and ease of passage from Libra. But, Cancer's good. I like Cancer. They're nice.
Why is that? Why do you speak against them?
Oh, they try to, use the leverage on Libra. It's like, oh, we're other Zodiacs, we want to make sure we get out of this easy without having to listen to the laws, and... I'm a greedy merchant, but I know how contracts work. Come on.
So you're a devil's advocate.
Oh no, the devils can advocate for themselves. They don't need me.
It's a common phrase.
For the Zodiacs, anyway.
Not to forgive me. Technically in here, all languages mix into one. To me, you sound like speaking ignorant.
Oh,
Apologies,
I-
it doesn't cross over.
Well, you hear like a thump of some sort of monumental force as Libra just pats their palm on their desk. He says, that's the call to order. Well, hope you guys juiced up for this speech. And he sits down on the stairs right next to the Svati.
Wish us luck.
Wish us luck.
Oh, you're gonna need more than luck.
I think we have the rest handled.
So, as you guys feel the weight of Libra's palm hitting the desk. Notably, they are the only one not with a sword. All of the Vati have this great sword over the back. They're just unarmed.
Is Libra Fati?
Yeah, they're a Vati, but a slightly larger one. It's just enough to bring them to large class.
slightly
Also-
larger, you say.
Yeah, they're technically the Vati are like 9, feet, whereas Libra's like 10, 11. But technically that brings you to large categories, so you fill 4 squares.
Okay.
Okay, so
So, by the way, here is not the token art, but the fun art for Libra.
Ooh, nice.
ooh,
Oh, I love
fun
that.
art.
Here is the one for
fun art.
Leo.
Oh, that's so cute.
And
So
here
is
is
that-
Cancer.
Are those the concepts of what they actually sort of look like, or?
This is
They
the
look-
art that basically inspired this campaign. So that I keep them on the token just as for myself.
Oh, so sweet.
Okay, but their token art is more so what they look like.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, good to know.
There's other stuff that I've included in, but you guys haven't figured that out yet. So, anyways,
On that note, is Libra just totally only rocking a kilt?
he
Nice.
is actually. You guys are the most clothed people in this room.
Okay.
Cancer is naked.
Well then,
Libra has just a simple black shirt. That seems to be a symbol of office. The rest of the Vati just wear a loincloth. You guys are dressed to the nines.
yes, as it
Yeah.
were.
Cancer
Which-
has that Chewbacca attire.
Yeah, basically. Which you guys might have noticed might be the reason for that might be especially with Rosalind and Esther. Flying on the winds is not good for keeping skirts situated well. It takes quite a bit of effort to keep it organized. So that could be one reason for it. So, as Libra calls the court to order, they stand up, and you can see just the rippling muscles on them.
What's it?
Bless you.
You hear from
Vati sneezes.
yeah, you hear from one of the bot teams goes, bless you. And Esther wears pants. My apologies.
Esther had not worn a dress.
Sorry, you have a
until,
cloak in the token art, so I mixed up.
Fair enough.
But Libra slaps their palm onto the table and says, "This meeting is to determine the value of Cancer's choice to break the laws of our land. Speaking on their behalf is another Zodiac, Leo, and the group that she chose to lie for. Do you folks have a name?"
Incandescence.
Ooh.
Those known as Incandescence. So, today, we will speak, we will deliberate, we will decide if Cancer's unjust actions are justified despite breaking the law. Who would like to speak first of you Incandescence?
Rosalind will
Towards
step
Rosalind, I
forward.
guess.
Yeah.
Please stand in the center of the room.
She'll go ahead and move up there. There we go.
Ashika gives a pat on the shoulder before she walks off.
And Libra looking down on you, he doesn't just have presence from his form, from his aura. You can feel the winds in this room every time he speaks blow in and out with the words. You get the feeling he has total control in whatever's happening. He looks down on you with the eyes flashing from golden to blue. Almost like a prismarine type of color. He says, "You, if you would speak your name."
My name is Rosalind.
"Rosalind, you will be speaking on behalf of Cancer, who has claimed that their reason for permitting you and lying to the other Zodiacs is due to a certain amount of trust that she feels you have earned as the captors and protectors of Aquarius, and as the assassins of Scorpio. What say you on your behalf? You may speak as long as you feel necessary." And he sits down.
I will say first that we have no quarrel with all the Zodiacs as a whole. We fight to defend our home and defend our own. The matter of Scorpio was a personal one. She attacked us first, and had previously sent an assassin to kill Aquarius while she was under our protection. Anyone who would kill who should have been an ally in cold blood and have words left denouncing peace should not simply be allowed to go free and to continue such acts. We acted to defend ultimately. As such, we have no desire to fight against you or Cancer or any who would not wish to directly harm us and our own and our plane. We want an end to this war more than anything. And we have discovered some things that you might not yet know. Things that are not safe to speak of openly. But we are willing to share them. We will continue to protect our plane, but we would rather be allies in that than enemies, and we would rather see all the other planes also protected. Oh, John?
Scared the shit out of me.
Yep, that
I
was John.
jumped.
I'm like, who's hitting a buzzer? I said
That's okay.
nothing untrue.
Rosalind, the hole opens under Rosalind and just drops.
Yeah, exactly. Wile E. Coyote.
Libra switched to like a full game announcer. I'm sorry, that's not the answer we are looking for.
Oh my god.
Oh,
I
next
actually
question.
jumped.
broken. Everything's broken.
Keep going, keep going.
Oh god. And okay.
Roll a concentration check, Ariel.
Yeah, I think I've already failed.
You're doing great, honey.
Wow. I'm just trying to figure out how to. I can't remember what I last said. Now I'm trying to figure out how to segue into the next thing. Oh man.
Basically said,
Something.
you would like to be working together for this, and there may be details that they're not aware of.
Yes. For instance, I believe it very recently came to light that there is more behind this war than some may have initially known. We wanted to find the reasons for it, and to find if those reasons could possibly be solved or assuaged in any way other than battle, destruction, and death. I am slightly thrown still.
It's okay. You're doing great.
You could mention.
If at any point you want to give a chance to Libra to respond to the first part, you can. You don't have to do it
Okay.
all at once.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank goodness. I thought we had to do
Yeah.
all at once.
No, you are basically free to speak in as many pieces as you want, as long as you want.
Okay.
Okay.
And that
So at any
is,
point, you can basically gesture for him to respond to something.
Yep. And, okay, in that case, Rosalind will open it back up to them in that case.
It says, if Rosalind, I may speak. This is Libra speaking.
Of course.
Thank you. He stands up once more. All ignorance of yours is forgiven, as you are not of this realm, and we have called you on short notice. All words spoken here are protected by the powers of this realm. So, we ask that you speak any information that you feel we're missing out loud, if you are willing for us to know it. If not, the choice is yours, but you will not be harmed, nor will you be attacked for your words due to the protections here. Secondarily, on the assassination of Aquarius, that was ordered by that who leads the Zodiacs, and carried out by Scorpio, and has been deemed distasteful but lawful within the eyes of this court.
With respect.
It is an ancient tradition that if a Zodiac is no longer fit to fulfill their duty due to capture, death, or disease, that they are honor-bound to end their own lives, and if they do not do so, their lives are forfeit to the Zodiacs. However, due to Aquarius having survived by some means, they continue to remain as the Aquarius of modern day. They cannot be killed twice for this purpose. Sits back down. You may continue.
It is not fear of harm that keeps me from revealing this last piece of information, but a fear of it being known to those who should not know. Further, with respect, it may have been lawful to you, but to us, we had sworn to protect Aquarius and to keep her safe. The carrying out of that order and that law tripped over something that we had promised.
So, give me a persuasion check. All persuasion checks and DCs for today's proceedings are on a gradated scale of success. So the highest possible DC and the most success you can reach is 30. In this one case.
Okay.
So, go ahead and make a persuasion check with advantage from your scepter.
Mm-hmm.
And a minimum of 15.
28.
Okay, 28.
30 is as high as I can possibly roll, guys.
No, but that's
Yeah.
still really freaking close.
So that's still really good.
30 is considered godly, so. Also, again, any magics you guys use are perfectly legal, so if you find a time to cast guidance, you're allowed to. But the floor is currently Rosalind's, so it's too late for that, at least right now. Libra nods and says, as you live in the laws of your land, not the laws of ours, you will not be punished for this protection of Aquarius, nor will Aquarius, as presumably her survival was not of her own volition.
It
You
was
have
not.
been... You are considered free and clear from all accusations on that count. You may continue.
I would actually ask you. This is to be a trial to prove that Cancer's actions were justified, that Cancer's trust is not in vain or in the wrong place. I can give you who we are and what we want. I have given you that. I can tell you that we take the protection of those we have sworn to protect seriously. Aquarius's survival attests to that. Our one attack was in defense, and we left the Zodiac, who was not involved in any of it, alive, and we would have hoped unscathed if not for an unfortunate incident with the battlefield at large. What can be said further that would prove our intentions are not against you?
Stands up once more. Who do you declare yourself to protect, or desire to protect?
A complicated question.
But a necessary one.
If war is brought to the material plane, then we will have to answer it, though we do not want to. However, we will exhaust every motion towards peace that we possibly can first. But in truth, we don't want to protect our own at the cost of all else. We would want to see peace and prosperity and communication flourishing between the planes. And if that is not possible, then at least contained peace in each.
See Libra nods. Go ahead with another persuasion check. add a +1 to it as well.
Okay. 26.
26. Okay. He
Still
nods.
really
says,
good.
The court recognizes your intent. He looks over to the rest of the party. Do you agree with Rosalind's intent as it applies to each of you?
Who wants to step up, guys?
Yes, there will.
Alright.
Does she have
Kevin,
to
could
step
talk
up?
you muted.
Oh yeah.
Does she have to step
Sorry,
up?
I was typing.
Okay.
Does she have to step up to speak?
No, they're basically asking for confirmation that Rosalind can speak for all of you in that case.
She
Can you
does.
give a nod?
Statements.
Ashley, you feel the eyes settle upon you, and you.
She speaks for us. We strive towards the ideals she stated. And we aim to protect all those who would have it.
He nods. Thank you. Turns back to Rosalind. So, you seek to protect, ideally, all lands, and maintain peace in all lands. Correct?
Perhaps not single-handedly.
But if you could.
Yeah.
If we could ensure it.
Well, then I ask you, who do you oppose?
Very specifically, those who
As
would,
much as you can.
those who would cause war for their own ends. Those who would raze cities, countries, people to the ground. Simply because it seems the most convenient thing to do.
Very well. Give me another persuasion. Okay.
Oh, they get lower every.
It's
Okay,
gonna be-
that's back to a 25.
That'll be a 25 anyway.
as minimum.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, your minimum was a 25 right now, so
Yep.
you got a pretty good backup.
Yep.
Yes.
Nod, and just... Very well. And for a war already started, what is your thoughts? Do you wish for separation of the planes once more? Interdimensionality? What is your desire? If the planes could be rewritten to yours.
I would not wish to rewrite the planes. Not to my own desires. Because
See, Libra kind of cocked their head at that.
that is a decision that affects so many. Beyond myself, so many beyond even my imagining. Perhaps most would prefer to have that isolation, to not reach across, to not crash into one another, whether figuratively or not. Perhaps others would prefer more open paths. Maybe there is much to be gained from that. More than what would be lost otherwise. So no, I would not wish to make that decision.
Libra almost smile. You prove yourself wise as well as eloquent. Rosalind of the material. Our final question of you. Do you oppose Ophiuchus?
Shit.
Only so long as Ophiuchus opposes the sanctity of life and existence, If he should continue to attack, if he should continue to press for war, and push so many people who do not wish it into fighting, then yes.
Maybe one last persuasion check with a +2. 27. He nods, says, "Your words will be considered, Rosalind of the Material. Do you have any final statements you would wish to make before we call upon any of your own to speak as well?"
The fact that I could say that name and so could you without the earth shaking did set my mind to some ease. The symbols of the zodiacs, do you know their true purpose?
Do you declare this purpose to be?
Something that we discovered only with the use of a very powerful identification spell, and even then it took effort on the caster's part. They watch you.
Nods. This power I am aware of, yes.
Very well.
It was my idea to implement it. It is for, in hopes to ease your mind. Its original purpose was to keep the Zodiacs accountable and unable to hide from this court, such that they must act, and if they choose to act against the laws, they must face the rules they are sworn to uphold.
I can understand that. I only hope that it is not used for ill against you, in that case.
He nods. Your consideration is appreciated. Are those to be your closing statements, Rosalind?
It was meant to be a warning, which I now see was unneeded.
As a note, Cancer looks very surprised at you saying that.
Asha's nearby Leo. How about him?
Make an insight check. Just note that Leo is a bit of intentionally a slimy bastard, so it might be a very difficult one.
Okay. Feign for advantage.
Continue assist with guidance if they see Ash's head sort of just glancing over.
Sure.
Okay.
I'll take it.
Yep.
Do it.
Okay.
29.
29.
Sorry, where do you have advantage from?
Feign.
Fane.
Okay. Alright, 29. Okay. He doesn't look surprised, but his face has changed a little bit from that kind of intentionally cocky smile that he carries. It's a slight change, but you notice it's different. What that means? Excuse me, you're not quite sure.
My final statement is a reiteration that even if we cannot hope for peace immediately, I hope that there will be one soon. Rosalind will step back.
Free to step back to where your party is.
Yep.
You each can see just the stress lines on her face, I imagine.
She's trying very hard to keep up the very calm, cool, collected facade, but who knows at this point.
Let me see performance.
Yeah, there's no advantage on this, right?
No, but you still have you can't go lower than 15
Just
still.
making sure. Yeah, it's 25.
Yeah, 25. She's composed. Ashta, with that 29 you just rolled, I'll assume it carries over.
Yeah.
She's shooketh.
Mm.
With good reason, but she is composed, at least.
You get like a faint
Give
thumbs up from
Ross like a
Xenia.
thumbs up, like 2 thumbs up. Okay, you're doing well. You're great.
Ashley just gives her a hug.
Libra stands once more. Again, the winds fluctuate with his words. Says, "Do any else of the incandescence wish to speak?"
Ashley kind of gives a glance over, like, I might have something to say, but should I?
Depends on what you want to say.
More tactical stuff, but in the
Perhaps-
exact same vein as Rosalind's.
Perhaps if we get a private audience, Libra, that would be a bit
Alright.
okay.
Agreed.
And considering the risk, I think
Do we want to justify our taking up Aquarius?
if we get a private meeting,
If it is asked.
And may I take that as a negative from the incandescence?
That'll be all for now.
Then I ask all of you to step to the center of the room so I may question you myself.
individually or all together.
Together, please.
Very good.
Here we go.
Looks at each of you and says, "I will ask questions to each of you. I ask you do not interrupt each other, as I am trying to ascertain each of your individual personalities. And if Cancer is right to have tried to protect all of you, rather than just one. Do any of you wish to be questioned first?"
Sure.
Feel the eyes focus to you and switch back to the gold. Says, "Very well. Please state your name."
Ash to Lightwell. There's also a fan over to Rosalind, like in that intermedium, like, take the break while you can go last.
Says, "Master Lightwell, you have an interesting reputation among the elementals. Are you aware of this?"
I could believe it. Though it's not been brought to my attention directly.
Are you aware of your previous incarnation's strength? Specifically of that when you protected the Feywild?
Nods. Creation and destruction.
Indeed. We have seen evidence that you are certainly a destructive force in the plains. What evidence do you present that you're a force of creation?
Hey, alright.
Hey.
Yeah, you thought this shit was gonna be easy?
Ooh.
Allow player to
mean-
stretch arms for a
I'm
second.
going to give all of you 5 minutes. Quick break. Partly to give Ariel a break. Partly to help me organize my notes with the new knowledge. Okay. So,
and partly for me to ask for help.
yes.
Okay,
So,
but you've
You
created
guys
a
will
city.
have until quarter 2, and then we're going to begin the questions immediately. Okay.
Okay. Okay, real
Okay.
quick.
Very well.
Ashta, for Ashta, you have created a city. You have created a place for people, refugees, to come and start a new life. You have created, basically, from the rubbles of Peduncle and aiding Anther, we have created a new place of citizenship and settlement and community.
For a lot of people.
Yeah.
You recreated. He recreated his own life.
Sophia and Fervus himself as well, yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
Fervus is used a mentor, so yeah, you could put that on your resume.
I mean, just even if it's purely symbolically, Ashta hit a very low point of self-destruction, and then it took Rayla's help,
Yeah.
but he could have
Yeah,
refused her.
Oh,
He didn't
Yeah.
have
Exactly.
to do it.
You are an all points to say a person of rebirth. Symbolically and truthfully.
I was gonna say, like, a comparison could be made to, like, a forest fire for the pine cones kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where it's different kinds of destruction. It's not wanton, it's not unbridled, uncaring, like, annihilation. It's planned, it's tactical, it's what needs to be done to protect those who lead to better creation.
Exactly. It's not destruction of willy-nilly.
For the
It's
sake of
destruction.
destruction, yeah.
It's calculated.
Exactly. It's calculated. It's analyzed. No shot is taken. No crossbow is fired without a target, and a set target with reasons.
I guess there's another thing. Agent of creation doesn't necessarily mean that you're directly doing the creating. It can just mean you support and provide shelter and aid, etc., to those who would create otherwise.
You're also supporting the creation of peace. You support Rosalind. You support Rosalind in her endeavors for peace. You support us in our endeavors of establishing community and stability amongst the planes.
All of us, in essence, created this group that is for peace. So, that's a sense of creation.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for you, in terms of creation, we would all be dead. If it wasn't for you stepping in and taking a hit and protecting us, guarding us, being that protector that you once were without the force of destruction, we would be in a lot of trouble.
Much
Another
more
thing
pain and
is-
deep bits. What's up?
Another thing is, like, just say carving a piece of wood. Are you creating a statue, or are you destroying the plank?
Creating a book, even too. In the same
Oh,
time.
I like that actually.
That's a great analogy.
Definitely use that analogy. You'll
Use
fucking stump him.
Use it. Use it.
I hope he's not listening.
Yeah, we're using our fame for that.
I am.
Hey, Conrad's there. Hey,
Damn
Conrad.
it.
It's
He is.
Oh, Conrad, did you see the thing that I messaged you about? Because the dream thing and I wasn't able to access it?
I saw it and I forgot what.
Because of the mock trial, I wasn't able to ask it.
Yep, that's okay. Wouldn't really have any. You would know of, but you would not have met.
Interesting. Really?
Yes.
Huh. Surprise, surprise. Alright, sounds good. Well then. It's just because if she knows past lives, fuck.
Alrighty. Let's shake it off. We got this.
We're gonna
Shake
be
it
fine.
off.
Alright.
Take a deep breath.
We'll be fine.
So,
We got this. We're good.
as the eyes of Libra fall to you, Ashta, what is your response? Before you
Destruction.
do,
Oh, fucking Cal Conrad.
gotta make you feel the
Conrad.
legend, he says.
Fuck you. like, no, fuck you for that. I was so close to saying a thing.
Before you speak, he goes, I will have you know that I was one who judged you on your past life. I was one who voted to cast you down, then ceded to Odin for you to have a second chance. With this knowledge, you may proceed.
Nods.
It's not a bombshell at all.
I appreciate the honesty, though I do not consider the previous incarnation a direct continuation unto me. I hold a part of them, and hopefully I'll leave that part better when I pass. The destruction I bring, or I have been said to bring, is not wanton. It is not malicious or violent. It is one to protect. It is one to preempt further harsher destruction. It is one that aims to bring forth the creation. My previous incarnation held the power, one in each hand, but while I have a similar status, I aim to favor one over the other. They are both tools I hold. But if you use a tool like a chisel to carve a statue, do you destroy the stone, or do you create the statue? I aim to carve the world around me, to make it better. For the people I care about, for the people who need the protection. and the cruel, powerful things that stand above them in this world. Those who lack the means of basic defense, I make up for. I aim to. I try to.
Stand by your statement that you protect, as Rosalind spoke for you earlier? That
Not
those are who you aim to protect?
any and all within that ideal, and I oppose any against it.
So, give me a persuasion check with a +3.
Right. I'm not great at those, but we'll see.
Minimum 15.
Yeah,
Ah.
minimum 15.
Minimum 15.
Yeah,
15.
so
Oh, thank fuck.
15 plus 1 plus 3,
19 total.
19?
yep, 19 total.
19.
And on. So very well. And do you see yourself as currently worthy to redeem your past self? Do you think if your past self acted as you do now and thought as you do now, they would be better for it?
I'll never think I don't have room to improve. But I think, given the stories I've heard about what he's done previously, were the fraction of myself to return to him now, there'd be some improvement. But I'd like to make it much better. I'd like to help him enough to understand and to be happier for it in the end.
Finally, do you still hold hate for elementals as a broad term in your heart?
No.
Devin, I'm going to ask you. Is Ash just saying that with complete honesty? Does he believe that himself?
He looks over to Esther.
So gives him a smile.
Very well. Ashta, you are deemed to be of neutrally positive character.
Thank you.
Who would like to speak next?
Senior's
Right.
going to step up.
I heard Xenia first, we're going to go with that one. I turn to you, Xenia. Let's say, what name would you like to go by, beloved of Corlon?
Senior Talisman.
Very well. What gods do you feel yourself most aligned to? Of those that you have served in the past?
Corlon and Moonbow. And an essence of preserving memories. The Raven Queen.
Very well. What say you on account to you being the one who harmed Cancer?
It was an act of spontaneity, an act of worry, an action I was not fully aware would affect many and all of the people around. I acted out of pure emotion in terms of Scorpio shifting one of our allies to another plane, and the only thought in my head was to end it as easily as possible. But I will attest, as much as I was the one who caused the harm to Cancer, I was also one who healed her.
And do you accept your role as the prime assassin, Scorpio? As the one who dealt the final blow?
Ty's freezing up 1 second.
Okay.
That's a really good one, Ariel.
I do not consider myself to be the sole assassin Scorpio, no.
Very well. Do you accept responsibility for the injuries and damage you caused, both to Scorpio and Cancer's allies?
I do.
You do the same for the injuries you have wrought upon Cancer.
I do, and if I could offer to heal them further if need be.
I nod. And do you accept your role in the death of Sagittarius? The death of his men?
I do.
Very well. Do you wish to advocate for any considerations on the separations of your body and the acts they may have taken on their own? Do you wish for any leniency on any of those 4 selves?
Those 4 selves are all part of myself. I do not know clearly what all 4 of their actions would have been. I truly keep the memory of one and another. Those were the ones that I was consciously controlling, and one that was present near me.
Very well. Finally. In the situation where ending Scorpio's life would mean you had to end Cancer's, but saving one meant saving the other, what is your genuine opinion on how you would act?
I would allow both to live, and thus I have the power to bring them both. I also have the ability to, in a sense, my magic can assist in controlling them to the will if questioning is needed. I have slight ability to bend what I need to my will, and the will that goes towards the greater good.
Does this greater good coincide with that spoken by Rosalind earlier today?
I agree with the words spoken by Lady Rosalind, yes.
Very well. So, give me a persuasion check.
Mm-hmm.
It's 2.
Mm-hmm. Can I guidance myself?
You may. All
This
magic's
is-
allowed.
This is a luck roll, guys. I'm warning you now. Yep.
Oh, fuck.
Yep, that's a 6.
Okay. He nods to you. We deem you as wise, but reckless.
That's fair.
But, in consideration with the nature of Fae, and those elves descended from them, your reckless nature will not be held directly against you. Who would like to speak next?
I will.
State your name, please.
Esther Azurite Mackin.
The Child of Flame. Blessed of the Phoenix. Former Leo. Are you aware of the origin of each of these titles?
Yes.
What gods do you serve?
That depends on what you identify as serve.
You're asking of your choice. Who do you identify yourself with? As either allied, subservient, or beholden to? We do
I will
not consider in this court a phoenix a god, so you may separate them from the rest.
I will confess that though Perhaps I did reach out to them. In turn, they reached out to me. And I do, I suppose, see myself as allied with them. The goddess Petra, god Thoth, and the lord of the mind.
Who is this Lord of the Mind you speak of? The court does not know this title.
I do not know his actual name, I only know he is here.
Will you allow one of our Vati to pluck from your mind an image of this creature?
If that is what you so desire.
Very well. You guys see the Vati behind on the right side, kind of step up, and press the hilt of their blade against your head. And an image of the Lord of the Mind stands in front of the court. And for the first time you see a look of confusion and almost awe cross Libra's face.
Might I
So-
ask, you know,
I do. It is a face I have not seen for millennia. Who you refer to as the Lord of the Mind. The Gith who first freed all Gith with Yankee and Zerai from the clutches of the Mind Flayers. Some consider him a god, and it seems he has enough followers now to be considered one.
confess I did
Sorry.
night in my...
You cut out.
Oh. I must confess I did not know his origin. I simply knew he was of Gith descent, or of Gith race in himself, that the title that he gave me is the only one he presented to, and that these
Very
three
well.
reached out to me.
With this new knowledge, do you consider yourself still allied with them?
Yes. They have done nothing to harm me, and have not done any threat to those that I see and care about.
Very well. Question for you. Do you consider yourself connected to the plane of fire in any form, other than heritage?
Yes.
Do you consider yourself an elemental or a humanoid?
I consider myself a being of magic. Whichever form you choose to label that under, that is of your decision.
Very well. Can I ask you a question of your own morals? If you saw yourself born in the servitude of Sagittarius, raised alongside his salamanders, taught how to fight by him, as many of his guards were, with the same personality you have now, would you protect the plane of fire as fervently as you do the plane of material?
With the same personality, with the same ideals that I currently...
Yes, simply born to a different home.
Yet I still see the destruction that him entering the material plane causes.
As well as the destruction that travelers in the material plane wrought on the elementals.
Then I would
Of
still-
these transgressions, are you not aware?
I am, on some account, but I must confess, we are not as knowledgeable. The information is hard to find, secret guarded. We are attempting to gather as much knowledge as we can in order to broker peace with both sides.
Very well. Then I revoke my question, as it is unfair to ask of you. Considering you do not know all the facts, nor do I have the time to recount it to you.
Thank you. You may ask other questions if you so desire. To answer.
Remember whose court this is, young one.
I do.
I ask you, with the full knowledge that Ophiuchus also worships who you refer to as the Lord of the Mind, does this change your opinion of who is considered by at least those we've spoken to an enemy of peace.
That Ophiuchus is an enemy of peace? Mind is...
That you
Guys.
consider Ophiuchus an enemy of peace in some form.
Because he communicates and worships with the Lord of the mind. Is that the terms of the question? Apologies, I'm simply asking for clarification.
That's alright. That is the terms, yes. Do you consider any difference in opinion with full knowledge that Ophiuchus worships the Lord of the Mind in a similar vein that you do?
Each worshipper is different. Each worshipper has their own ideals and personalities. It's simply because myself and another man worships Thoth doesn't mean that we both have the same morals and ideals. We have one commonality, which is the respect of knowledge, but it does not mean that we both hold the same opinion or view of the world. I do not consider him an enemy of peace, but I do not consider him a fighter of it either.
Very well. Then I simply ask you, Esther Macken, if you had to choose between the tribes you call home and the country who segregated them, who do you consider your homeland?
My home is the sand on which I was born. The sand on which I was born happens to be a part of the country that has segregated my people. Simply because they have segregated my people in the past does not mean that there will not be change in the future. A change that I will fight for until I die. So I fight for my country, even if there are those who spit in the face of my people, who call us names and who push us away. Because I believe, in every ounce of my being, that one day, much the same as between our plane and yours, there will be a chance for peace between my tribes in the country on which we all reside.
Very well. So, with that, give me a persuasion check with a +1.
You've got the
18.
potion.
Oh, you have glibness, right?
Oh,
It was
Yeah.
You rolled
And
15,
probably guidance.
naturally.
I have glibness. I don't know what that entails.
Yeah, it just
So yeah,
means
that means
yeah.
yeah. So basically, if you had rolled below 15, the number on the dice would be considered a 15.
Okay, so it's still considered a 17 then.
Would Xenia have guidance?
One.
Yeah, could I? I don't.
Yeah, again, you're allowed to use any magic you guys want.
I mean,
I know,
Esther
but-
would have
But choose
probably given you a look.
I know, okay, if you give a look, it gets given.
Yeah, go for it.
Guidance just lasts 1 minute, so I don't want to gauge it because we've been talking more than.
Yeah.
Okay, D4 Sky.
Oh, God.
Oh man. Oh god. Oh,
21.
shit.
Okay.
21 total.
21.
Alright.
Not bad.
Not bad at all.
Nesta Macken, we deem you a neutral party fighting for their ideals. Ideals which we find sympathetic. And as a blessed of the plains, we acknowledge your pedigree, let us call it. Who would like to speak next?
Next.
State your name, please. Feathers Flare, the newest member to Incandescence. Do you
I-
see us?
He might be lagging. I see his circle.
I don't hear him.
Yep.
Yep.
John,
That is correct,
Harris?
sir.
Oh,
Hello?
there goes.
Okay. There we go.
Hello? Yeah.
Yep, we hear you.
Okay.
Despite your neophyte status, do you see yourself as one of this group? As equal to the others?
Much to contribute to this group, and I view many of these people as mentors, friends, and to some extent, even family. I've not known them for long, but they have made a great impact on who I am as a person.
Then I ask you, Fergus, who does your allegiance fall to? This war. Do you see yourself of the tribes? Of the druids? The country? Of the plains? What do you behold yourself to, and who do you fight to protect?
I behold to the side of peace. If there's
Farewell.
any way that we can mitigate any forms of conflict, then I will pursue whatever means necessary to ensure it.
I ask you, Cancer were to die at the hands of a potion you created, without you being the one to use it, do you find yourself responsible?
Yes. Because I would measure to think that I would have been uncareful that such a potion would fall into the wrong hands. And I would hope not, and I would take whatever penance necessary. Because I inadvertently, in this hypothetical situation, had given someone the means to question.
Do you hold yourself equally as responsible as a member of the tribes who have been, say, treated poorly by the country at large that you live in? Do you find yourself equally as victimized?
Who is victimized? Sorry, could you repeat the question?
Us on the plains consider the Genasi tribes as a victim to the racism and the distaste, let's call it, of the country of Panacea. Do you consider yourself a victim just like the rest of them?
As much as the people of Panacea have slung insults my way and shown to be less than hospitable, there have been people on the material plane and in the country of Panacea. Compassion, love, guidance, and all of the things that have benefited me myself. And if I can hope that more of those people, if I can nurture the ideal that we can all live in peace, then I'll strive toward it.
Very well. Finally, do you consider yourself responsible for the likely unknown to you, but the transgressions that humanoids, including Genasi, have made against the elemental planes? Despite your lack of part some of them. Yes. As a resident of both the tribes and Panacea as a whole, do you consider yourself responsible for the faults of those who have transgressed against the elemental planes in the past, despite the fact you may not have contributed directly to them?
As someone who finds themselves representing Panacea and the tribes, I will take responsibility for them.
Very well. And finally, if you had the choice, use Scorpio's weapons, use Scorpio's tools against those you oppose, will you?
No.
Is this a promise you are making? Or is this simply an assumption?
Yes. Scorpio's tools, no. This is a promise.
Court acknowledges this. So, first, give me a persuasion check with +2.
Could I look towards Xenia for guidance?
Yep, go for it.
Yep.
I'm assuming Xenia's given
crap,
customary
that was an
shoulder
accident.
pats.
Or is it
That was an accident.
double it? Well, it's the
But it's the first number.
It was a 16.
The first number?
It's
Total 16?
Yeah,
Okay,
16
give me the
plus
d4.
It's not a 16, it's a 20. So,
Yeah,
20
yeah.
plus... What was the plus again?
1d4, and +2.
Plus 2.
It's 23.
23.
Alright. Get a nod from Libra.
Oh god.
The court deems you a responsible and good child of the plane of material. So long as you uphold that promise, we will maintain this decision. Finally. Rosalind. We've asked many questions of you already. Do you wish to speak further on your own behalf?
Do you have any further questions that you wish to ask of me?
Some, yes.
Then I will.
Seen as one of the leaders of the floating island, once inhabited by giants. To the best of your knowledge and to the best of the opinions of those who you ally with, are you and yours citizens of Panacea while on that island? Or is the island its own entity?
A question we really should define more firmly. I believe that our thought is to make us our own entity upon that island. An alliance with Panacea, an understanding, certainly. But being a land not tied to physical boundaries quite as much, it would almost be a shame to limit ourselves in such a way. Limit our people in such a way.
Do any of your allies disagree with this? He looks at the rest of you.
Esther shakes her head.
Nope, no disagreement.
Very well. You, Rosalind, consider yourself beholden to any deity.
DM clarification.
Yep.
Personally, I didn't see the Archfey as a deity, but you've said things that imply they are. Is the rosy one technically a deity?
If you choose to ask Libra this, they would consider it one in this case, yes.
In that case, she'll phrase it as more, I am beholden, to some extent at least, to an interplanar being of great power. I am not sure that they would be considered a deity in the most technical of senses. They are not celestial, but fey.
Is the one you speak of the Lord of Roses?
Yes.
Very well. Finally. In a choice between the residents you are sworn to protect and keeping them safe, or including them in this war, what would you decide? If you had the choice to free those of your land from the shackles of this battle, and allow them no part, but in exchange, you would have to step back from this war. Would you?
I could not in good conscience allow those to fight without me, who wish to fight. I would give them the choice. I would not drag them unwillingly into battle behind me.
Very well. Finally, do you consider yourself the lead negotiator of this new country of yours?
I would say that it depends upon whom we are negotiating with. Anything that is bound to the Genasi tribes, their culture, their history, I would defer to Esther. And take advice from Fervus as well. If there is anything of the northern lands that I would not understand or I would not be as well suited towards, I would turn to Ashta or Xenia. I may sometimes be the first to speak, and I may speak sometimes the most generally, but there are situations where I would not be the first.
Then I will ask you, with whatever communication have set up silently with each other, contributing to it.
Shit. Uh-oh. She knows.
Why do you choose to speak on behalf of Cancer?
Isn't her fault. She kind of got caught in it.
We didn't even intend to fight Cancer in the first place.
At all.
Our original plan was to deal with Scorpio and then quickly broker with Cancer if possible, although that might have been a bit idealistic. But things happened, and there's the run-in with Capricorn, and so we just had to peace out. And now that Cancer's paying the price later for it, we owe it to them.
And we had no intent of harming Cancer at all. After the fight occurred, we did our best to heal her, best of abilities, quickly as we could. She was never an intended casualty. Never even.
Am I supposed to be repeating this, just to be clear? Or...
You're basically gonna give the statement over the group.
Okay.
Like,
I think
she
we're basically
wasn't.
back and forth, but we're using your modifier.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
She
Like-
wasn't a target.
I'm just waiting until I need to see.
we took steps to warn Cancer beforehand.
Mhm.
Exactly.
So why do we defend Cancer? Because...
And also, we see this as an opportunity to broker an alliance with those who are less enthusiastic about the war. Aquarius, Cancer, Libra, Leo. The ones we found to the best of our ability. It would be the most possible to broker peace with, most reasonable.
I
Mhm.
think we could boil it down also to Aquarius spoke well of Cancer.
Yeah.
Alright.
Consider that all as part of what was explained.
Yeah.
Anything else you would like to add, Rosalind?
One other thing, maybe?
Mhm.
We also wanted to speak with Libra at some point, so this proved a good opportunity.
And also because we don't want Cancer to shoulder trouble on our behalf.
As a result of them trusting us.
Yes. We owed it to Cancer for that.
Alright. So, this one is the final check for the day. The highest possible DC is 33. So, go ahead and take an additional advantage for help from the party,
Okay.
as well as a +5.
Take some guidance.
And a guide.
You got this, babe.
So,
+5, +2. Oh wait,
So
that's
15
11.
flat.
so 32.
Ah, God damn, so close.
That's so close.
Again, it's a gradated scale, it just means you didn't get like the highest possible success.
Yep.
But still,
One
that's
below.
pretty fucking good.
Okay, so, Libra nods.
Those were some terrible
Say
rolls.
very well. You are asked to be seated, as Leo speaks on your behalf as well. I thank you for your time.
Thank you for hearing us. Just
So I was gonna
So-
give Leo a grin.
Leo seems to be just lounging in this whole situation.
Ash might just like put a hand up to just have a final word.
Libra kind of gives you a harsh look.
No.
Says, "You may speak, but shortly."
Because my other part is not here for it. Thank you for the opportunity to redeem myself. He walks off.
Very well. Okay. Leo actually takes a roundabout way around the steps and pats Fergus on the shoulder like, "I like you, new kid. You're pretty cool." And then steps up to the...
You like all the flaming hair ones.
he steps up to the speaking platform. And he says, "My name is Leo, of the Zodiacs, Azer of the Fountain of Creation, once property of Virgo. I speak on behalf of myself, and for the trust I have with Cancer. I will not lie, Cancer doesn't like me very much. We don't get along.
I'm gonna try not to
But-
laugh. Fuck.
That's okay. Leo's is meant to be a chance for you guys to relax a bit, so go for it."
The whole bar's just like snapping in his lines at the back.
You got this. You got this, Azer.
You got this, queen. Gone.
Oh, the stress.
As the only Zodiac, other than Cancer and now Libra, who's been allowed into the illustrious club of those who got to meet who I now know as the Incandescence and live, well, Aquarius, met them and didn't live, but then came back, so I'll count her too.
Oh my god.
I find them interesting. They've progressed quite a bit. When I first met them, they were awful negotiators, absolutely terrible. Try to speak on behalf of Valeri, on the word of those who protected one of the overseers, and as such has been not the most successful. One of my soldiers, in fact, even killed Esther. And yet they speak on behalf of peace still. I find this interesting. I also find Cancer altogether a bit too hairy for my taste, but that's living on the plane of fire. You'd be lit too quickly.
Bro! Ease up on the
Libra just kind of
shaming.
sighs and just, we ask that you keep your comments to the nature of the court case. And he says, don't worry, I'm getting there.
What a
So
body
Libra.
shamer. God damn.
There we go. It's a resounding facepalm. Oh. But
I like to imagine like Asha and Libra pinch the bridge of their nose at the same time.
a little bit. Cancer just looks just confused at this whole conversation.
Leo's the dude who'd be like, yeah, she don't shave her legs, so I'm not for it.
No, he's not that much of a fuckboy. He says, so, what I will say on behalf of Cancer is, I don't blame you. I find myself all too trusting of these folks, and myself as well. They are naive and hopeful, in a way that I feel us Zodiacs are too beaten down to do so with responsibilities. Many of us were forced to make choices of protecting our realm, or fighting on behalf of all of the planes. And just as Libra, you asked Rosalind before if you would give every citizen the choice. We were not given a choice. But Cancer took the choice to trust these who she believes can end this war. So, I vote on their behalf, and would ask that the court recognize my, small as it may be, sway as a Zodiac, as a vote in their favor. And also, whatever trial I'm sure you plan to give them after this, give them a chance to negotiate first in case they get killed doing it. Thank you. Lever just sighs and says, you may sit back down, Leo. He smiles and gives you guys a thumbs up. Finally, Libra says, Cancer, I ask you take the floor to speak on your own behalf. She does. She stands up and labors over to the center, looks up to Libra, and says, I take responsibility for my actions. I hold no regrets to them. I feel they have proven themselves trustworthy, if not at least good people as a whole, and wish the best for all. While I will admit I did not have all this information before, Aquarius has chosen to stay with them when we asked to break her out, and refuses to take sides between us and them. As Aquarius was once a student of yours, I ask that you recognize her judgment, that Aquarius never wanted conflict, and to consider these, perhaps, chance of redemption, even if I am to be cast down. Thank you. Libra nods, says, we'll all come to the center of the judgment of this court. Stands by Cancer's side, gives a smile, and Cancer gives him a bit of a dirty look.
Esther kind of holds out her hand to Cancer.
They take it, a massive paw in yours. Still in shackles, so kind of both hands are dragged that direction, but they do so.
She squeezes it comfortably, and Rook continues to hold.
Make a mom check, just out of curiosity.
Sure. Bruh, what is with these shit mom checks?
You're nervous. Yep. Fervers, if you could please step to the center.
I don't suppose glibness would have helped that mom check.
It's a wisdom check, technically.
Ah.
with the power as a zodiac, with the power as a servant of the realm of Aaqa, and as the mentor to Aquarius, and a guiding figure to Cancer. You deem Cancer guilty, but not to be punished. So long as those who have chosen to take responsibility for her injuries, past transgressions, accept a trial decided by me after a chance to privately negotiate on the proceedings of this war.
Trial is in the
Incandescence,
box.
do you accept these terms?
Trial as a lawful kind, or trial as in a testing kind?
Both. It is a tradition of this realm.
I agree.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
I could not leave them behind for it.
Cancer, you are deemed forgiven. We thank you each for your time. And if those of Incandescence would follow me, we will speak privately with one another. They smack their hand once more on the table. Crack. Aquarius and Leo are sent home. Sorry, not Aquarius. Cancer.
I was just,
Ah, damn it.
as he leaves, Astrid just gives like a little face to Leo, just like, you thought we couldn't do it.
He's not paying attention. He's just smiling up at Libra.
Alright.
So those two are sent home. Libra looks to you and says, "If you wish to speak with Cancer another time, you may, but let us deliberate." And he claps his hands once more, and you feel the wind pick up in this room. And the Vati are all sent out. They kind of float out, doing their own thing. And the pillars flash with light. And a small barrier comes up between those of the inside and those outside as Libra steps down and sits on these steps like you guys were. You speak well. I commend you for your courage to speak and your dedication to peace. Let us deliberate before I assign you the challenge that I'm required to.
Just
With that,
consider.
we'll take a quick 10-minute break.
Alright.
Oh,
Okay, so out of
Jesus
character, this is
Christ.
considered like a one-on-one, not like another court proceeding?
nope, it is a chance to talk to Libra just as Libra.
Alright, neat.
Out of curiosity,
Okay.
what do you mean by court proceeding? What trial do we have to stand?
It's
That
not
will be
a-
told to you at the end.
Yeah.
I asked
have
if
a
this
couple-
was a court's proceeding or not, and the answer is no. Currently, we're
It's
talking
technically,
to...
yeah, so speaking to Libra isn't, but the trial later on is going to be, it's both a tradition and a, considered almost like a trial of righteousness in a way.
community service.
Trial by
Kind of.
ordeal. Perhaps.
There's at
Yeah.
least one of them up. There's at least one of us up for it.
Yeah.
We're gonna have.
So
Yeah.
is it- I'm assuming it's those who caused harm to Cancer.
Oh, I think it's all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of us.
But if
We
we're
would
picking and
tell you.
choosing.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
You guys
will
have
okay.
chosen
Yeah.
take collective responsibility.
Oh yeah.
I hope it's gonna
Ye
be to kill
fucking
something.
ha.
I have a fun
'Cause
spell
that's-
prepared today.
Because that's what I'm good at.
Mhm.
That's what we're
I-
good at, boys.
I did a fun spell prep today that could help. Because watching some old Vox Machina stuff, I'm like, ooh.
Yep.
Oh no.
So, how you guys feeling?
I
feel bad that I wasn't able to persuade him more. Shit.
That's
It's alright.
okay.
I'm
I got
just straight up not having a good time,
It was a
bro.
group check, don't worry.
Yeah.
got a 6.
I feel like
No.
Fervus saved our fucking lives.
Fergus did a very good save, but also, basically it was decided when you guys didn't come into conflict with Leo. Leo was basically an automatic success since you guys last interacted with him, and you made a good impression. So he was an automatic success to start you guys off.
I'm so upset
Burrito.
that I didn't get to talk with him. Shit.
Technically, this was a success out of 7 rather than out of 5. Both Cancer and Leo were automatic successes. As long as you spoke well, Cancer would be given the weight of her argument, and you guys did. So you guys technically succeeded with a 5 out of 7.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, Ashton, you came real close.
To not?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, not
Sorry.
Ashton. Fuck. What's it called? Fergus.
Fucking Christ, man.
Sorry.
Oh,
I was
God.
thinking of the two. Sorry, I was thinking of the two non-casters. That's why.
Oh. Came real close
Oh.
to what?
Two being a failure.
Oh.
Oh god.
He rolled
Okay.
high
But-
though.
Out of curiosity,
He did,
what was the
but
rage?
he had one of the higher DCs.
Oh boy.
What was the rages of these +1s, +2s, and +3s? That I'm curious about.
It was basically how many of Libra's intrinsic beliefs did you guys manage to hit upon?
Ah, interesting. Okay.
You guys also
Yeah.
lost. You guys also
Logos and pathos.
tended to lose bonuses for ones that you directly counteracted.
Fair.
Yeah.
I basically had a set of 6 that any of you guys had a chance to speak in line with.
I am assuming Esther counteracted several.
You counteracted one, but you were a very separate
Yeah.
argument compared to most of the others, because yours was more believed in anything
Yeah.
else.
How many did I get?
Yeah.
You got 3.
Alright.
Yeah, you got one of the. That's why I was like.
I
what the
believe
fuck?
Fergus got either 3 or 2.
You got 3.
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
2.
And Rosalind got 2?
Rosalind's was a bit of a separate case.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I was speaking for most of it, so I remember.
But she got the second one at the end, didn't she?
God.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
your +2 on your first time speaking Rosalind was because you basically had a twice as difficult version. You technically hit 4, but they were each worth half because you were speaking on your own.
Mm-hmm.
You were basically given trial by fire. So, but you all did very well.
Yeah, knowing that I passed by the skin of my teeth stresses me the fuck out.
Y'all see why I don't use charisma?
No, but guys, do you understand how fucked we'd be if Fergus didn't make those potions?
Dude,
Yeah,
we'd
we
be
would be
so
Yeah.
fucking screwed.
Purvis is.
Fergus
MV
is gonna
fucking
get.
P.
Yeah.
That was actually the reason why Fergus was asked if they were going to take responsibility. Because if this went poorly, it was basically saying, like, yeah, Fergus, you take responsibility as part of the reason they failed.
Yeah?
That was why you were being asked. They know that you guys are affected by potions right now. They were accepting them. And they know that Fergus made them. But overall, you guys all spoke very well as players. So just as a DM,
God.
very well done, all of you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Also, good job
Now there's
maintaining
just this
your
weird-
character the whole time. Good fucking job.
There's this,
Except
Yeah.
there's
one
there's this like nagging thought in my head. Oh god, what if I never switched out? What if
Oh,
this was, what
I
if
had a
Caius
whole
was in
thing
the
ready for
situation?
Caius. I had
I would've-
3 for wrestling analogies.
Libra's sitting there like, and Caius. Purple? Really?
Purple, really?
You know, with Caius, you're going to be asked a lot about your illusion with the Goblinoids, your role with the fight with Sagittarius,
Yeah.
as well as basically the closest thing to a pure-born citizen of Panacea. What is your stance? And a lot of it would be also, and as someone who has been betrayed in the past, do you still choose to trust? Like things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
What?
been betrayed in the past, and what is your stance? Well,
It sucked. Wouldn't do it again. 10 out of 10.
I'm just straight up not having a good time, bro.
But
Out of curiosity, what was Leo's reaction to hearing that Esther was his predecessor?
Oh yeah, I threw in that Ashley gave a glance at Leo in the chat.
Because I
not
wanted
much,
to
really.
see.
Again, he's very hard to read, and even with your guys' insight, you get the idea he doesn't really care.
Fair enough.
I was just wondering if
Well,
I was just wondering if there's like an oh neat on his face, or it's just okay.
It would be
yep,
on his
that's easy.
face, but you wouldn't be surprised if that was his thought.
Okay.
Just like,
Maybe
Ha!
he was tapping
Shit.
a finger throughout it, and then the finger tapping paused for just a beat, and then it resumed.
Yeah, that'd be the most you get out of him. He is businessman through and through.
I could also see him like putting up a face too. like an exaggerated look, like, really,
He's in court. He's at least more aware than that.
I would say against that, given his way he talked. But
Talking is one thing. His face is
Can
another.
you just imagine Leo go full dickhead?
It's possible.
Okay, we gotta negotiate with a Zodiac now.
President
I'm gonna run the washroom.
dickhead.
By the way, Ariel, how does it feel to finally not be the only person speaking?
Yay!
You honestly did really well. Was that a written speech? Did you plan that beforehand or no? Really?
Damn,
Really?
honey.
I thought that was
Yeah.
prepped beforehand.
No, I had the list of things, I had the bullet points, and I was basically fumbling, going, segue to this, then that, and then...
No, you did a really good job actually. I thought that was like fully planned out.
Yeah, it's like, did you write this down?
No.
Script this? Did you write down this promo, or did this come off the cuff?
There was a slightly panicked, just... I don't even know. At
No,
some
you did
point-
wonderful.
Is a powerful tool. What's the phrase? Adrenaline is a hell of a drug.
Yeah.
Fuck.
That's why
I will say though, Xenia, you took a very elf stance to this, and that actually worked a lot in your favor.
Damn.
Because
Are very,
Libra kind of recognized the fact that you're naturally a being of chaos, and you're choosing to speak as a being of law, in a court of law, and put that as a point in your favor.
Nice.
Now, Ty, you're actually here.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, sorry.
That's good, so I'll make sure you're still here.
Yes, just mentally no.
deflated.
Mentally, I like brain wants to check out, and I'm forcing it back in.
It was a very stressful little bit, so fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to gauge myself back to reality. I don't know how good it's going.
Feel free to just kind of listen to the negotiations.
I'll try to talk. I do want to talk. Just good lord, my goddamn charisma on this game.
I'm gonna say, now that you're outside of the court, checks are not gonna be made with just charisma.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was
I-
specifically meant to be a thing to help build Rosalind as the negotiator.
Yeah.
So, this will be more, because it's a more personal thing and negotiation, I'm going to be using checks based on just kind of how you choose to talk. If you choose a very wisdom-based kind of speech, you'll use wisdom.
Yeah, my charisma's luck rolls, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
It's okay.
You're healer, not negotiator.
Yeah.
Also, you're the only reason you guys can even get to court, so that helps too.
Hello.
Uh-huh.
Orb and shit. Yeah.
As I was like walking out of the room, I heard a like, "Oh my god, really? What did I miss?"
I don't remember.
No, no.
Something
Oh,
towards
wait.
Ariel.
Yeah. they
Oh,
were
I
asking
thought
if
she
I-
had prepped the speech in advance.
No.
Yeah, so as I said to Ty right now, now that you're in negotiations as opposed to court proceedings, not all rolls are going to be made with charisma. It'll be either intelligence, wisdom, or charisma based on how you kind of make the speech.
Hmm.
Also, the AU of Kai's standing trial is my favorite.
Yeah.
So-
God.
Are you guys ready to begin?
Okay.
Think so.
Yeah, I guess.
All right.
So, as you all stand in front of Libra, him sitting on the steps like you were as you watched the proceedings, gives a slight smile, says, "I feel like it's only fair that I state my position in the Zodiacs before we start. I am the judge. I am the primary body that even Ares must answer to. And I am who serves most directly Ophiuchus. Do you have any other questions of my role before we choose to negotiate?"
You said you serve him. that mean that you agree with all the things that he stands for?
I uphold his orders. I was one of those who chose for him to lead the modern Zodiacs. I stand by that choice. While not all of us know who is really in charge, I believe.
Sorry, you cut out.
Sorry. While not all of the Zodiacs know who's truly in charge, nor the sway that they have, Ophiuchus remains my vote as most fit to lead, at least from a distance.
Can I ask a DM question for clarification?
Sure.
Because I distinctly remember when that news dropped and it was going all over the place on the Zodiac grapevine, Aquarius said that Libra was very, very angry, very upset over it.
Yep.
Alright. I just want to make sure that wasn't a name mix-up in that case.
Nope. I understand why you ask, but no, that is a...
Alright.
I just might ask, was it your choice to return to the position you currently hold out of death?
No. But it is a responsibility of myself in my position. This is my chance of redemption, so you could say.
And was it your choice to keep other Zodiacs in the dark about who you serve?
It's not. I always opt for transparency. Openness. That's why this court has no walls. But, as it happened, this is how it worked. And as I said, I follow what is dictated to me.
Why
Please
did
know that
you-
inside this court, speaking Ophiuchus' name will not draw their eyes to you.
Force of habit more than anything, I suppose.
Why did you consider Ophiuchus? Why do you still consider him the most fit to lead? What qualities?
For one, they have an ancient wisdom that even I do not. They also have a drive and an ambition that it draws people to them, makes people believe in them. So much so that they are the first to have the Githzerai and the Githyanki make peace. It's their separation from the Mind Flayers. They've smoothed over squabbles, wars, differences that have lasted thousands upon thousands of years. It took them only a few years. If anyone can lead things to their best end, I believe it to be them.
So what
May I-
changed in this current age?
Under what context?
It seems war was the preferred tactic at this time.
Before you answer that, what are the slights that the material plane has done against the element? I want to know,
There are almost too many to list.
in general terms, please.
The enslavement of many, the... some might call it pillaging of those beings that live here. There seems to be a lack of understanding in what is an object and what is a creature. That taking a piece of the plane of Earth, to us, may seem to just picking up a gem and walking out with it. That they've chosen to segregate the Genasi, who are our bridge, who were once of us. The simple fact that they're related to the elemental planes, it's been made clear time and time again that they do not have the respect that we feel we deserve.
Deny that.
That is, the current leaders, the Druids.
And that is who we oppose. But when we went to the other countries, and we stated our desire to make change with Panacea, no other country would stand against them. They are too powerful.
Unfortunately, I suppose nature.
Are you cut out there?
I suppose it's general nature to go against the status quo. It's often more simple to fall in line. Not many people are brave enough to go after change, to desire it with conviction, to uphold it.
Especially not a country who is entirely self-sufficient and ruled by spellcasters who can change the landscape itself. Many fear for the citizens too much to stand against them.
They hold answers to the hardships. Hunger, disease.
Indeed they do. But with that they've taken power we do not feel they deserved, and they have tried to bring us under their rule before. Politically, more so than by force. But when we tried to fight back politically, they would not listen. So, we used force to bring them to the politicians' table. And it seems that you guys are the first step of that. We know you don't speak for those of Panacea,
Far from it.
but we also know that it's at least a starting point of contact. We've disallowed the Archdruids and the Arcanists, the Glimmers, the Enlightened, intentionally. We don't want those with just magical power to speak to us. We want those who can lead politically without magic.
I've seen wonderful things that fervors can make. In terms of science, the alchemy, ways to cure and to provide that
You're lagging,
lie.
Sky.
There are ways to cure and to provide that don't lie so heavily on magic. I understand why it is draining. Why it's unfair. There are other ways.
We have presented to you folks as well the scholar's definition that the druids draw on the plane of the elements. That is, in some senses, an excuse for them to see that their magic affects us. While not all the Zodiacs know this, this is a fact I'm aware of.
How heavily does their magic affect you?
At the current moment, slowly, and without great change. But if they continue increasing the rate that they currently are, at the end of the millennium it will be dangerous for all on the elemental plane. So just as you, Ashta, would choose to circumvent that and step before that happens rather than in response, we choose to do the same.
Nice to see that at least in that aspect our deals.
Yes. You may find I believe more of what you guys say than I'm allowed myself to be biased by in court.
But that's fair. In court you must rule with bias, without prejudice, without prior.
Would that sentiment lead to me, assuming correctly, you were not for the destruction of Peduncle?
In fact, I was the one who forced it to come to a vote in the first place. Otherwise, Ares would have just enacted it himself. But I will state this, and know that I can sense truth and lies, regardless of what that scepter of yours does, Rosalind. How fares Aquarius?
She's good. Truly
She's
she
safe.
is. Yes. Beyond measure. I have done, personally, everything in my power to make sure that she's back. One of her men.
You're breaking up a lot again, Sky.
Okay, I got the part that I needed.
Okay.
Yeah, one of her men is also with her. Safe. Well provided for, taken care of.
Junior, if you happen to know the names.
Unfortunately, I'm not that knowledgeable, but I know Aquarius cares much for her men.
She also has a pet hippogriff that she seems pretty happy about.
Yes.
Yes, her polar bear misses her greatly.
I can understand why. That was actually a subject that I believe I wished to speak about.
Yes.
Well, I feel like we have more important things to speak on first. As I can only do so much without at least advising from the rest of the Zodiacs, but I will do what I can on my own, and I will strive for peace, but I do warn you. As much as I respect your vie for peace, and I respect and I want that peace, Ophiuchus will likely not back down. Eventually you will have to confront them.
We feared as much.
Assumed as much.
That
They
is the
are-
right.
I fear I fear a great number of things. But they have changed the convictions since this war has begun to be planned. And I'm not sure they still want negotiations as much as I do.
I could
They now see
understand.
conquest.
Has anything else changed in them?
Not that I can detect, but I am blocked from sensing them the ways I sense you. My powers are usually limited to this court. Once I'm outside, I am simply a Vati of powerful stature. That is all.
There's a quick feign, everyone. Like, you don't suppose he got a little something in his head, do you?
That's what I'm thinking.
Might I ask one thing that, well, if it's personal, then no need to answer. Aquarius mentioned when the news broke, when we discovered Ophiuchus, and apparently so did the other Zodiacs. Aquarius mentioned that you seemed displeased. Was it because you mentioned you preferred transparency. I can't imagine it was because the news got out.
No, it is... The way the news broke was by my mouth, but not by my own volition. I was forced to speak it to each of the Zodiacs through their minds, and I do not know how it was forced upon me.
Oh.
I'm so sorry.
It's alright, I assume it is some sort of powerful charming effect. But,
Do you know by who?
no. I just know that in that moment I technically broke the law. And that is a mar against my soul that I will never be able to repair.
Do you perhaps have a suspicion as to who might have charmed you?
Kind of nestles his eyebrows in, and he's gonna roll an insight against you.
I was gonna... There's a feign over at Esther, like, hey, roll it back a bit.
It's a really low roll.
I will be honest with you. She has no ulterior motives. Just
Okay.
being honest conversation. She's not trying to pry for anything. She's just, again, being the same open self that she was.
Okay,
with
in that case,
Phoenix.
I will mention this because I feel like the player might have forgotten.
Yep.
It was
It was basically Rosalind. It was that wish spell that Rosalind used.
Yep. Because it lined up precisely
I
with,
forgot
hey,
about that.
Yep,
I'm
okay.
so
fix the
sorry.
That's
fracture
okay.
of the plane.
I'm going to assume Esther didn't know that at the time, and therefore, the insight says,
Yay.
no. Yes, I don't know.
I didn't know. Fuck.
Yep, no, that's okay. That's okay.
I should go.
Clean.
I should go into change the subject. I guess outside question then. Who would you consider the most antithetical of the Zodiacs to our ambitions and ideals? We've heard much of Ares, but other ones we're lacking information on.
Well, maybe that'll be part of our negotiations then. So, I know you wish to ask me to use my sway as a Zodiac and as Keeper of the Courts. What do you want from Libra?
We want Aquarius to be protected if she were to return to her role.
Same goes for Cancer.
I realize that you said that she cannot be struck down a second time. But
Now that it has been determined she did not revive on her own choice, that yes, that is true.
If she is to be returned, we would like to know that her safety is ensured. That she will
As
be
much-
protected. And that
As
there will
much
be...
as any Zodiacs can be, as you folks are evidence of how that is not ultimate.
That's understandable. Do you believe she would be safer in our custody? Question, I simply would like to...
At the current moment, no, but depending how things proceed, I could not hesitate to guess.
What about Cancer? You said before, there was a mention before of being stricken down. Is that from the position or from...
They have been excused, though guilty of their crime. They will serve a form of punishment, but that is all. They will remain Cancer. They will remain in their previous post, and I recommend you use that to your best effect negotiating for peace. You have effectively saved them from condemnation and death.
Ha! Okay. The fuck.
It was a sentence I did not wish to rule out, but very nearly came to be.
I would have changed it.
Very glad.
Myself as well. Laws are laws, so... You want peace, I know this. I cannot give you peace. But I'm sure you can figure out some other things that I can offer. What will you ask of me? Who do you want audience with? What do you want me to work towards to make peace? What will you give me in exchange?
Can we go on Fane real quick, y'all?
Go for it.
yeah.
Yeah, real quick. Ha!
Yeah.
What are we gonna ask, boys?
I should might even go, can you afford us a quick moment?
Of course. Do you need me to leave, or do you want to continue using your method to speak to yourselves?
We'll continue with that.
Alright.
Though if you don't mind me asking, how did you pick up on that? Simple insight?
Mostly, yes. There are assumptions I can make. The pseudo-dragon lends itself to telepathy. But, so does strong magic, so does magic items. I'm sure you have some way. Most who come into the court as powerful figures do.
Oh, Mayo, good she doesn't technically know.
Alright, so.
I want Thorn to just be like, and I talk too!
Oh, just be very glad he didn't ask Rayla to speak. I considered it. I very much considered it. If it was gonna be a good
Oh, no.
tiebreaker, I was gonna pull Rayla out there.
Fuck. That would have been fun.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't know, man. They give me I don't know, man. They give me drugs. It's fine.
No. No.
I smoked fairy weed with Zinnia one time, it's great, you should trust him.
Great bonding
God.
moment. Just saying.
Great bonding moment. We had a bonding moment, okay?
Anyhow,
Okay,
what
fane
can
to
we
each other.
Negotiate.
Okay,
Who do we want an audience with? Obviously, I'm assuming not Ophiuchus at the current
No.
moment in time.
No, we are.
Say probably not. We want an audience with Leo, but we might
Yep.
be able to
Yeah.
get that on our own. However,
We'd also
that's-
want information on everyone else to see if there's any others we might have a likelihood of an audience with.
yeah,
Well, we can always
recommendation.
ask. Well, who of the Zodiacs is brokering for peace? That will affect heavily on our decision.
Yeah, who would you trust in that, I guess, goal?
I think that's just fair to ask outright.
All right. How about the possibility, if not now, then in the future, just for the future, the possibility of envoys between Aaqa and Evros. Envoys, traders, a
Yeah.
teacher exchange or student exchange program.
Honestly,
No, seriously,
Yeah.
that's not a bad idea.
Aaqa would be of value with some
Just
things there.
being able
And the
to,
thing is,
if you can open those gates and those doors of communication, then that leads to greater understanding, which can solidify that peace.
that is a huge cultural exchange, though.
Mm-hmm.
That is one major way to not merge, but at least to stand in unity of the respect and understanding of other people's cultures.
Yeah. And, in all honesty, if we, this is, again, for the future and different track entirely, but, if we go to, the Genasi meeting, and Esther happens to come across some Genasi who are like, yeah, desert's great and all, but I could stand with a different climate, invite them, by all means.
Find a Air Genasi, Aaqa on the material and be like, hey!
I do hope you realize that that was an actual talking point that Esther would like to bring up.
Sounds good. Excellent.
Esther just kicks in the door at the meeting who wants to go to the elemental planes?
There are several things that Esther needs to discuss, not only just going to the elemental planes, but also potentially bringing Genasi onto the island.
That is exactly
I
what I
will
was
say,
talking
though.
about.
Everyone get on Esther's magic school bus.
But-
So that's-
mainstream.
I will
Just
say I'm so
there.
glad this is the avenue you guys are going with, because I have a very particular idea in mind for the modern campaign if this goes through.
Fun. Alright, so,
Oh dear.
basically,
Miss Sizzle.
Oh,
well,
we got
derailed.
There's the Banshee.
Give Sky a second.
Yep.
That's fucking brilliant!
Alright, so that's maybe what we want to ask from Libra. What do we have to offer in exchange aside from that potential open port in the future?
Tears in my eyes.
Is there anything more immediate for the more immediate? Who would you recommend we get in contact with, and can you arrange a meeting?
Yeah, we could work towards returning and freeing if there's any large scale taking going on from Aaqa and the elemental plane of air.
Mm-hmm.
Just oh hey, this one spot in this one druid city is hoarding 500 air elementals,
Yep.
using to air condition homes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, just ask her, ask him, what is it that you desire from us?
Do you see this man's pecs? It is a him.
Bruh, I was told before that it was a her, leave me alone.
Yeah,
What are your pronouns?
Look at
everything. All of them.
I will say
pretty
Vati
sure
are
we've-
effectively just basically what elves were before the return portal.
Yep, I'm pretty sure we've cycled through
Agender?
every... Yep.
bruh, look at this dude.
Christ, that was fast, Guy.
Thank you. No, it's just, what was it called? But basically, I don't know what he could want from us. That's true. Obviously, the trade
Yes.
route is good, the cultural exchange in terms of unity, but also just ask.
Yeah.
What is it that you would desire? What would you prioritize as high enough for this to happen? And
Do
see
you
if we
cons-
can give it to you.
Is it in
You
our
consider-
power? Is it equal to what we want from you?
Do you consider us working towards our ideals while you are kind of bound by your own laws as a favor towards you specifically?
Yeah, so I think those are good. Definitely the whole exchange between our island specifically and the plane.
Oh yeah. Even if that's not something that, because of technically the war is still on, can be set up and done right away. That would be a promise for the future.
Also, we're willing to take on the polar bear.
Yeah, bro, we'll take the polar bear. Bitch, give him here.
Because one of the few emotions we saw Libra give was oh, the polar bear misses her.
It's either that or we... Oh, there he is!
Baby!
Ice bear.
Or do
That's
we have Aquarius return to...
I don't think we should, honestly.
I don't think
don't
she'll be
know.
safe.
yeah.
I don't think she'll be safe.
Not the way things are going. Hell, I could
I'm-
see us taking on cancer later.
If Ophi there, has changed enough to go from a major broker of peace to You know what? Burn them all.
Conquest.
Then
He specifically said conquest.
Mm-hmm. And also, like, we were outright attacked by one of his underlings on his orders. Like,
Yeah, we might want to mention that.
yeah.
Because he may not know.
Alright, so, I guess if we get into negotiations, point one is we want to know who they would recommend we get in contact with to further negotiate in terms of peace and so
Broker
forth.
peace, yeah. Peace talks.
If, we already have Leo in mind, we'd like to speak more with Cancer, but those we might be able to arrange ourselves. If
I need
Libra-
to speak with Leo on a personal level.
Yeah. If
Fuck.
Libra were to recommend a meeting to set up, who would it be?
Outside of Libra and outside of Leo and Cancer.
Yep. So I guess that's question one, Conrad.
I want him to say, like, on a Monday, Gemini, on a Tuesday, anyone but Gemini.
So, what are you guys asking to Libra? What are you saying?
First was, who would Libra recommend us to actually broker peace talks with?
As something as a request, yes?
Are you asking this as yourselves? Who you specifically should probably broker peace with?
Yes, I suppose.
But I guess also informed by your personal feelings on the war and who might share them.
How about this? I can collect a council of the most likely for a proper negotiation. And I can bring them all to you at once. But, exchange, you bring to me the Archdruids of Panacea to that table. All of them. While I am happy to make peace with your island, they are not the problem. And if you want peace, peace needs to come from Panacea, not you.
Can we work this piecemeal? Druid for a Zodiac?
There are far more Archdruids than there are Zodiacs.
That is very true.
He's not wrong on that aspect.
How
And
many
2 or 3.
Archdruids have we even met?
I can't give you guys the exact number of
Also,
We have not met many Archdruids!
also, how many of your side have they killed?
Hold on, I'm gonna count how many there are, then I'll count how many are still alive.
Yeah, there's another important qualifier.
Because some of
Did
them
Ares
are...
rip one's head off?
Yes, he did. But that's another story.
Oh, what?!
I swear, legitimately, at one of Ash's questions later is going to be: is Ares as much of a bastard as we've been led to believe? And I just want the answer to be yes.
Okay. The number of alive: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 10. There are 10 Archdruids still alive.
That is a lot.
Just gonna- Yeah, but still, that's about the amount of Zodiacs who are also kind of alive right now.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
are
but Aquarius
all
is captured.
Zodiacs.
Aquarius, okay, but... okay, one more. It's alright, we can
There's
kill
also like
Archdruid.
6 Archdruids who are dead. So.
Yeah,
That's also not counting all the Enlightened and
Yeah.
Glimmers and all that.
Well, that was gonna be a thing Ash was gonna ask. Is like,
Yep.
They don't count, it's fine.
would you count for enlightened glimmers, people of those type, ones who once hold power and perhaps in another time of power shift would in the future?
I am not as familiar with your political structure as I would like to be. I know your old one, but that was before I knew of you. So I would ask that you bring all of the Archdruids who still live, as well as whatever enlightened, whatever of... Do you call them Glimmers or Arcanists now?
Glimmers.
Glimmers, I believe.
Mostly glimmers might depend on you ask.
Okay. Whatever Glimmers, whatever enlightened, choose to come to the table.
Orzer!
Yes.
Oh, you poor bastard, Orzer!
Orzer! We need you to come with us. What? Why? We need an adult!
No. What I will ask is that your island be the meeting point. The
Look,
powerful politicians of your realm cannot enter the elemental planes. There are enchantments that I couldn't even undo in all my power, or any of the Zodiacs, unless we were all together. We need a place in another plane, and I feel your island is best for it.
I think that would be fair, considering we have sort of established ourselves on neutral ground.
As well, I want the real rulers, the ones who by blood are in charge. Your prince and your princess.
That, I believe, we can do.
That is much easier.
Good. In exchange, this will be the primary peace talk, and if I had to hazard a guess, it's possible it would splinter the Zodiacs into who choose to fight and who don't. Tell you the plane of air be a plane of peace, if that does happen. Unless the druids give us a very good reason not to be. You do this. Can you do this? Can you get the archdruids, the powerful figures, to the table?
We can try as best as we can.
We will absolutely
promise it
do our best.
at the current time, but
If we can arrange a meeting, if we can arrange a day and time, then we will get in contact with you.
I will have them ready whenever you give me a date and time.
It is going to take us a while to get into meetings with all of them, but we have a
I imagine
few.
as much.
We have a couple points of contact. Perhaps word can spread from there.
Good. When you have contact with them and can arrange with it to come to the table, give me a date. I will have the Zodiacs that I can bring.
Very well.
Good to know.
But all of the archdruids. That is not negotiable.
All of
That's
the
understandable.
archdruids.
all currently living ones, right?
Yes. Yes. Sorry, I forget death is so much more permanent to you folks.
What if one were just a fall? That's out of character. That's out of character.
Just know that I cannot halt the gears of war until you are ready. The longer you wait, the longer things will continue.
We'll try to move as fast as possible.
Speaking of Gears of War, somewhat off
Great
topic. Somewhat, I wasn't as much of the cover shooter part, but you know,
Yeah.
Chainsaw Gun was cool.
Chainsaw Gun was pretty cool, yeah.
I should Libra just start fucking talking about stupid bullshit.
Okay.
Also, the new XCOM style game? Wonderful.
Guys!
Back
Sorry.
on, boys.
Asha will ask just on the topic of Gears of War and the like, is Harry's truly as much of a violent bastard as we've led to believe?
Ares has made an oath of conquest. He will not be stopped he will not be stopped while he lives. It may take 1,000 years, but he will conquest whatever he has made his oath to. I'm not beholden to the details.
I'm sorry, you said an oath, as an oath to a...
An oath, a personal oath. And I've never known him to break an oath. Nor any of the Ares, really. Most of them follow an oath of some kind.
Yeah, I'm well aware,
Yes.
fortunately.
It is a shame we never got to meet in your past life. But I wish we had. You seemed like an interesting sort.
I did indeed try to look at memories, see if it happened to you.
You are breaking
If it
up again.
helps. That's okay. I caught the important bits there. If it helps, what happened to you is one of the reasons I chose to dissolve the Zodiacs when I did. It was clear we were no longer emissaries of peace like we should have been.
I appreciate that.
What would it take for you to make that consideration again?
That is an extreme consideration.
That is very extreme.
I-
But it seems the qualities that led to it last time are no longer in place.
What qualities of redemption are? As I said, the Zodiacs have been given a chance to reform better. We're not all perfect yet, but we are better than we were. We've not descended into the chaos and political backstabbing that we once did. Imagine the Zodiacs were everyone except for myself. was like Scorpio and Aries, except for the occasional outliers.
Oh, by the gods.
That's why I chose to end the Zodiacs. Any longer, we would have risked starting a blood war like that the devils and demons have.
Then what about a large-scale reform? Like you said, the meetings
what
would lead to a fractioning.
If a fractioning is what's needed, then a fractioning will happen. That may cause infighting, that may cause sides, but it will not be self-serving. If it is, I will dissolve them again, and I will pass a second time.
I must ask you a personal question, more so in the terms of Genasi than anything else.
Sure.
In several days' time, there is to be a gathering. A meeting of the heads of Genasi culture, as I suppose you are aware of. Is there anything that you would like to be said? Anything that you would like to be brought up? Because I can tell you most positively, I'm pretty sure they are on the side for peace on the elemental planes.
If I'm not mistaken, an envoy has already been sent, with orders of what to speak on.
Truly, how may I recognize them?
You'll recognize them. They'll be an elemental.
Lovely. I can't wait to meet them.
No, I imagine you can't.
Insight?
Go for it.
I'm sitting here remembering.
23.
It's the sandstorm. Fuck.
Nah.
He seems amused with the line of conversation, the way that Esther's phrasing things.
She's being genuine!
Oh, I know.
Yeah. He just looks like...
He's not laughing at you. He's enjoying the conversation and enjoying knowing what you don't. As is the DM.
He gives a glance like... holding something back there?
I'm not at liberty to say.
As long as this envoy isn't, rather large and frightening, I suppose there are many children
Oh,
at
no,
this.
you don't have to worry about that.
Okay.
Well, they might be frightening, but not large.
That is my only worry. Many of my younger siblings are to be attending. All of my younger siblings are to be attending, and I would rather little ones not be too frightened.
I make no promises. It is Zodiac after all.
I'm sorry?
Ah. We were told that.
Smiles.
Shit, which Zodiac?
Well, we look forward to making their acquaintance.
If we
I'm
haven't
sure you will.
already.
Cancer?
So.
Oh, Cancer's gonna die if
However.
it's in the desert.
Oh no! Oh no!
Leo.
If it's Leo, I'm gonna
Oh god, it's
choke.
Leo.
No,
It's
no.
Leo.
Okay, but if it turns out to be Cancer, we have to, like, quickly make one of those, like, cooling internal things Asha has for Cancer.
So I was
Yeah.
actually gonna ask, if it is a Zodiac who is more akin to colder climates, I would advise just please allow me to know so I can make something with cooling properties.
Prepare whatever gifts you think will be fit. The only climate like you anywhere in your country is that of the plane of Earth. Everywhere else is a far different climate. So, I'm sure most Zodiacs would appreciate whatever you have to offer.
I only worry that it's potentially Cancer, because Cancer will be incredibly heat exhausted.
If Cancer is sent, most likely.
I will need to prepare many things.
I might send Cancer, but like, and he could get heat stroke, but like, he'll be there.
He's fine. He might come back shaved, but he's fine.
But yes.
Shave the Yeti. Oh no.
That's right.
You ever seen a shaved bear? It's not good.
No.
I don't like
It's
that.
really not.
Stop it. That's like
Don't like that.
it's like a rat on steroids, but without the tail.
Anyhow, gonna just briefly bring up.
Vision we're having.
There was a thought for the future, perhaps far in the future, and it all depends on how so many things go. But what if the island became, furthering the neutral ground idea, a point of contact between the planes, intentionally? Whether it's trade or shared culture, knowledge, studies.
Be very interesting. I like that idea.
Well,
If we reach peace, I would vote for that, yes.
it is something for us to strive for.
I hope so.
Out of character, cool idea. It could be like the hands on the clock or the wheel, where it kind of moves to the north, south, east, or west, depending on what plane it's interacting with at the current moment.
Oh, we're
Oh,
gonna
I
have
like
to build,
that!
We're gonna have to build like some kind of outdoor big old like rotunda thing that just has like teleportation circle, like very specific locked one in the center.
Elemental
have
Corn
various,
Palace.
Various
Stop
little
it.
like planar portal things set up around the edge. We can turn it on and off. We can like
And-
lock it and open it. But
And there's
does have
there's-
that spell.
yeah.
Portation circle. Esther has it. She can design them.
Oh yeah.
That works on the material plane, though.
No, the teleportation is for the material, for
Oh, okay.
visitors. So
Gotcha.
that it becomes almost a hub of trade and travel, and it could be very interesting.
Oh
you
my god, we
teleport.
get to build a school!
I was about to say, we're gonna have university grounds on there within a few
We
generations.
get to build a university!
Flying Hogwarts.
Yes!
I will say,
Flying
if
high.
that
is-
does happen, it
Wait,
will most
Half-blood
likely
as
be
well.
That'll be part of the
Technically.
epilogue.
Yep,
Hmm.
that is epilogue stuff, but...
You
I just
teleport.
wanted
You
to bring
teleport
that up
onto
now.
the island. There's 2 doors on the left. It's you need to cool down. On the right, it's you need to warm up.
Oh boy. Alright. So,
I like what I did. Do you have any more negotiation points before I inform you of your trial?
I believe that the meeting is our next great hope. Anybody else?
Should we? There's a quick faint over. Should we bring up the Phoenix thing just as a point for us, or should we keep that for Leo?
Let's keep that
I was
for Leo. Sorry,
like to ask specifically,
go for it.
is there... I know you were capable of dismissing Leo and cancer. Is there a possibility that after the trial, be able to... Leo,
Return him?
I need to speak with him.
You will have to do that on your time, but if that meeting does happen, I imagine Lee would be quick to come to it.
Alright, thank you.
Are they still currently on this plane, the both of them?
No, I sent them to their homes.
All right.
I can do the same to you once you choose to leave.
That would
I
be
suppose
appreciated,
after the
but,
trial.
Yes, which comes to my more important point. You do have a choice with this trial.
Goody.
It is a trial by combat.
Of course it is.
With
Well, you can choose either me and my chosen Vati,
Oh fuck.
to the death, of course. At least for me.
Huh.
Or you can choose to fight Gemini, the axe of Aaqa. They are our emissary and our enforcer. I am only equal to them with Vati by my side.
Well, frick, guys, what do we think?
I think
honestly,
we'll end the session. I think we'll end the session there.
wait,
Okay.
out of curiosity,
Trial by combat to the
he-
death?
He says to the death. Will he be revived?
No, he was basically saying, you win if you get him to surrender. But if you're fighting, it's you guys are fighting to your death.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Regardless
Should we
of which one we pick, right?
Yes.
Alright, so what are we feeling? We'll decide out of session probably, but oh god.
So,
yeah.
and that for today.
I'll get
Oh,
the
God.
off.
Alright.
Till next time.
Till next time.
Bye.